Hello everyone, Michael here for Tactica Imperialis. Welcome to today's video. Today is episode 23 of Adeptus Podcastus, the 140,000 podcast that usually goes as a bit of an arguing match, but we're going to try and not do that today. So, joining me as always is Remleiz from 40k Theories.
Hello everyone.
And Ego Queen Alexis.
Hey!
Yeah, no guest this time. I don't have the connections that Remleiz does.
And our guest I did plan on getting on is evidently still asleep because he said he'll come on if he woke up in time, which he obviously hasn't.
Is this who we were talking about?
It's fucking Magnus.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, Magnus.
Now, obviously, I don't mean anything against Zegram. It's just my character, the demon, hates Magnus, so...
I thought that was just you, period.
Well, yes. I actually don't anymore. I killed Magnus in one shooting phase with 2 flamers.
Does he have... How many wounds does he have?
They were immolation flamers.
Same question.
2d6. I actually forgot.
Yeah, because I know he's got more than 10. I know he's got more than 10 because he can be targeted out from long range. I know they mentioned that. But
yeah, well, I was shooting at him all game because it's Magnus, so...
Yeah.
It's just 2 flamers did him in.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I've had fun with flamers this edition as well, so...
Fucking flamers!
Fun with flamers.
I know. Context.
Fun with Flamers, the Salamanders guidebook.
Speaking of Salamanders, in the news this week, by the time you're watching this, Codex Space Marines will be available for pre-order. It won't quite be out yet, we don't believe. And we have had a full look at all of the new chapter tactics, as well as some of the new relics, warlord traits, and stratagems unique to the various chapters.
I only got to see the chapter tactics. I did a video on it earlier. I did, however, misread the Salamanders tactics. It works per unit, which makes it a lot better. I just wanted to state that because I know people are going to go back to that video and be like, Alexis, you're dumb. And I'm going to be like, I know.
Alright, so yeah, they've sort of stated that we've got chapter tactics for the Ultramarines, the White Scars, the Imperial Fists, the Black Templars, the Salamanders, the Raven Guard, and the Iron Hands. The Crimson Fists don't have a unique tactic, but they do have some unique stuff of their own.
Pedro Campbell is back.
Was he ever gone?
Yes.
No, it's just no one ever used them.
Exactly.
Same difference. So yeah, I haven't got the Ultramarines one. I can't find the Ultramarines one right now. But I'm sure
the Ultramarines one is that they get +1 leadership all around, which is amazing this edition.
To be honest, I've found leadership is not that powerful a stat, particularly in small armies, because most people have got like leadership 7 or 8. So to cause a mass break, you have to kill half a unit anyway, and at that point, +1 doesn't make much difference.
No, but in combination with and they shall know no fear, getting the reroll.
Oh, is that what they shall know no fear does these days?
Yes. So it's actually really good, but the better part of their effect is that they get to retreat from fighting and still fire their weapons at a -1 ballistic skill.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking as a tower player, hitting on 4s isn't that good, but it's pretty helpful.
I'm actually quite a fan of the Imperial Fist chapter tactics.
Yeah, well, we'll go through all of them for everybody's benefit. We'll start with the Fist then, soon as you mention them. So the Imperial Fist chapter tactic, which also applies to the Crimson Fists, is that enemy units do not get cover saves, or the bonus for cover, against Imperial Fist models. And on top of that, you can reroll to wound against buildings, which is kind of an Imperial Fist thing as well. It's mostly used. I mean, I could see it working against, like, if you're fighting Tau on the ramparts that float around, but it's not too useful. They also have a stratagem, which is Bolter Drill. We don't know what it does, but if it's like last edition, it'll be probably rerolls of 1s with bolters or something.
Probably.
Well, that would make their captains completely useless. It might be reroll 1s to wound.
That's only for Primarchs captains, or is that for all captains?
All captains have the reroll 1 to hit, and all the lieutenants usually have the 1 to wound.
Oh, right, okay. Well, it will be something as a stratagem. We don't know what it is yet. That was just a guess. And we've also got their unique Warlord trait. Friendly Imperial Fist units within 6 of the Warlord that are getting a cover save get a +1 against things that are AP 1, basically meaning that AP 1 turns into AP nothing when shooting an Imperial Fist in cover. That's good.
Oh, yeah.
That is good. I will admit to that. There were 3 that I thought were really good. The Imperial Fist one was definitely up there. I think the Ultramarine one is the best, my opinion.
Probably.
Strictly my opinion.
What?
And the other one was the Raven Guard.
We'll get to the Raven Guard. Let's just get through the Fist, and then we'll do the Raven Guard. So Pedro Cantor is back. You mentioned that. He apparently gives people near him attacks and rerolls to hit. So he's basically not changed. He's a better captain, and the +1 attack thing is a thing he used to have last edition. So that's pretty normal. And they also have a warlord trait that allows an outnumbered general to increase his number of attacks. So that should be fun.
Then you got
I can see that being extremely useless. Useful. I meant to say useful.
I was going to say, it doesn't sound useless at all.
Yeah.
No, you said Black Templar, and I said useless.
Speaking of the Black Templars, their entire army gets rerolls of charges, which is not strictly amazing, but it allows you to play Black Templars with probably like an...
In fairness, that'd be pretty good for things like the Emperor's Champion and stuff like that.
But it's more a lot. Their reference to things like Assault Terminators, the new Inceptors, the flying guys, and I could see it working. Can you assault out of drop pods?
Yes, you can.
So you can see. Well, the thing is, there's a bit of a thing with Alpha Strike. We might talk about the meta a little bit later on because I think I saw it in one of the questions.
Oh, I mean, I actually saw it as more beneficial for like, what was it? Dreadnoughts, Terminators. But at the same time, like, I was comparing the Black Templars' reroll charges to the White Scars, which we'll get to in just a second, and the White Scar one was just better. I'm really curious as to what the Black Templar are actually going to bring to the table. Like, will they have more movement to make up for the fact that they kind of don't have the survivability?
Well, we don't have their Warlord trait or relic yet, but we do have their unique stratagem, which is 1 command point. If a psychic power of any sort is casted within 24 inches of a Black Templar, you can deny it on a 4+.
That's really good, actually.
It is a command point to do, but in a brigade detachment where you've got like 12 of them, or if you're playing a multi-detachment thing where you've just got bucketfuls of them, that's pretty helpful. Although, actually, hang on. Stratagems, are they that 1 use a phase, though?
1 use a phase.
So yeah, you're only going to get to stop 1 power on a 50-50. So it's maybe not amazing, but against like armies with only 1 psyker, I could see that being pretty useful.
Well, especially if you bring your own, but we don't know if they can.
Black Templars can't. That's the whole point. They specifically in the paragraph it says while the Black Templars have no psychers of their own, their unique stratagem allows them to negate psychic powers.
Then bring one in with another detachment, and you get 2 chances to reroll, 2 chances to deny.
But then you're not playing with with the fluff.
The fluff.
It's not.
I don't know if you do Castellans of the Imperium, you are.
Yes, it's just. I mean, if you want to do if you want to fake activate the last wall like they did in the War of the Beast, you could do it that way. Redo the last wall and just create a bunch of Imperial Fist successors with the Fist. That could be fun.
Then they can fortify this position.
Moving on, let's do the Raven Guard because they were mentioned first.
The Raven Guard are one of my favorites right now.
So the Raven Guard, your opponent must subtract 1 from any hit rolls when shooting at Raven Guard with this tactic if they are more than 12 inches away. Ow, 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 ow.
There's going to be a lot more Raven Guard armies in the future.
Yes,
there is. The Raven Guard, the thing is, though, the Raven Guard aren't particularly renowned for long range, are they?
They had sniper units, didn't they?
They're snipers and assault marines. They're their 2 sort of gimmicks. Because they're
this combined with being in a building with snipers who get to pick on characters.
True. I mean, the other option is to go with someone like Shrike, because Shrike is now the chapter master, and he gives jump pack units.
He got promoted, did he?
He did. He got promoted after Damocles when the Raven Guard chapter master died. So he gives all jump pack units reroll charges.
Ah.
Okay, so actually, I was thinking about this tactic with sticking a Land Raider Terminus Ultra in the back of the field. That thing getting a +1 cover, that's amazing.
It's not cover, it's -1 to hit.
Oh, yeah, it's even better.
The only weapons that really hard counter that are like torrent flamers, like the Tyranid acid spray, but they're few and far between.
Right now, I've gone up against a few.
There's also the unique Warlord trait is basically the Dirge Caster. You can't fire Overwatch.
Or the Howling Banshee's Mask.
Yeah, that's true. That's another one. And their stratagem is it allows you to hold units back at the start of the game and then deploy them more than 9 inches away just before the game begins. So you basically give them mass infiltrate for if you spend.
Oh, you get to null deploy.
You have to pay a lot of command points to do it, but yes, you can sort of null deploy.
Wait, no, you can only use 1 command point.
It says you'll want to pack as many. Oh, maybe it's a scaling stratagem, so it's like 1 to 5 or something. I don't know. It is not stated yet.
Wait, can you read it again?
It says you'll want to pack as many command points as you can into your list to take full advantage of this, allowing you to hold units back at the start of the game and deploy them anywhere more than 9 inches away from the enemy just before the game begins.
So when did Creed become captain of the Raven Guard?
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's quite funny. White Scars, or is there anything else to say on the Raven Guard?
Oh, we can move on.
Okay, White Scars then. So the White Scars, their tactic is a unit advances an extra 2 inches. So biker units therefore move an additional 8 by default. And in addition, they can charge on the turn they fall back.
Oh, interesting.
That's actually extremely useful with vanguards. I've noticed that they've sort of moved away from bikes, because bikes aren't really that good this edition. Yes, they have 2 wounds, but they're just not as effective as they were last edition, where they got to move the 24 inches.
They make reference to like the Inceptors who can fly and therefore shoot and charge on the fallback, which is pretty nasty.
I'm thinking more of vanguards because of all the special weapons you get. Like if you run them all with power swords or lightning claws, with
but you could also work it the other way. For example, packing lots of plasma or something like that. Because you could do it both ways. Speaking of bikers, though...
I didn't giggle at that.
Speaking of bikers, though, their stratagem is for bikers. So it gives bikers advance, shoot, charge.
Ooh.
It doesn't speak about penalties, so it's just advance, shoot, charge for White Scar bikers if you pay the command points.
Okay, that could be extremely useful.
And Corsaro Khan gives out strength bonuses for charging units.
So again, you want to stick away from guns and go full on swords.
Yeah, and their other stuff. So their warlord trait is effectively looks like Hammer of Wrath, so mortal wounds on the charge, and their relic is actually a psychic one, which makes it easier to cast Smite and unleash the power of the storm, whatever that means.
It might be their own unique psychic powers.
Maybe they've got that, or maybe they've just got a casting bonus to Smite. We're not 100%.
Yeah.
As for the Salamanders have... This is powerful. You can reroll a single failed hit and a single failed wound made for a Salamander's unit with this tactic each time it shoots or fights. If you get that on something like a las cannon unit, that's effectively rerolls of everything.
Nice.
It's just 1 gun.
Yeah, but like think about like a las cannon dreadnought, for example. That's effectively re-rolling everything.
Well, las cannon dreadnoughts aren't. Well, they can carry 1 las cannon now, 1 twin las cannon.
Oh, it's 2 shots as well, yeah. But that's still pretty powerful.
It is, especially when you combined it with the command trait that allows you to re-roll already.
You can't re-roll a re-roll, but yeah, that's true.
No. I mean, say both shots of those las cannons miss. You get to use these Salamanders one to reroll one of them, spend a command point, reroll the other one.
Yeah, and you can. They also make reference to, like, supercharged plasma would be a good way to benefit from it as well.
Yeah, I've learned my lesson about supercharged plasma.
I don't like it. I don't like overcharge on my Ion either.
No. I had in the game against Ghost, the first one, I made the mistake of putting a bike unit too close to Hellblasters.
Ow.
He overcharged, had a lieutenant and a captain next to him.
Oh, God.
He wiped out almost every unit that I had really quickly. Like, he systematically wiped me out. So the next game, I brought dual Land Raiders and just blasted him away.
Okay, let's have a look.
Does the Iron Hands get anything either as well?
We'll get to the Iron Hands I'll get to you in a minute. I just want to finish the Salamanders.
Oh, right,
so it looks like their Relic and Warlord trait can give a Gravis Captain up to Strength 5 and T6 through the Warlord trait and Relic.
Buy the $35 Gravis Captain. He's
Oh,
really good.
As an example, but that basically looks like it's going to be a strength and toughness booster between the trait and the relic. Their stratagem is about flamers, which is just we don't know what it does, but it's generally a flamer boost. And Vulcan does something similar as well.
Vulcan lives. Stomp, stomp.
Sorry, Vulcan Hestan.
I still giggle that flamers are better with the sisters now than they ever will be with the Space Marines. Even with the
we need
bonus.
Well, we need to look at the Salamanders in full before we make that call, I think.
Well, no, I mean, just flat out, the Sisters of Battle can bring more. Because each Battle Sister squad can carry 3 of them. 1 combi, 2 flamers. Or 1 heavy flamer.
Space Marines can too. 1 normal, 1 heavy, and some...
No, they cannot carry a heavy flamer.
Woo!
Yeah,
what about
they
Terminators?
Cannot. The Terminators can, yes. But tactical squads and Devastator squads cannot carry heavy flamers. That is a Blood Angel exclusive thing.
That was the hand flamers, though, not heavy. Flamers.
No, they have heavy flamers in their tactical squads.
Couldn't Salamanders also have heavy flamers?
We'll have to see all the details. I think it's too... at the moment, it's a little early to speculate.
I'm going to check the index, because I know the index entries aren't going to change.
Well, that's not guaranteed.
Yes.
I think there might be a few little patches done. We don't know.
Well, there's going to be like specialty units and everything, but the base rules and everything are going to be in the indexes. It's why you need to spend $75 on codexes now.
Is that how much? Wait. How much did you just say?
The codex is hardback and it's $50.
I was going to say you said 75 a second ago.
Well, yeah, the index is 25.
I thought the codex had all the rules in it.
No.
What?
What?
Yeah, it doesn't have all the rules in it. You need both books.
What?
Hang on.
I'm not kidding.
I'm going to check that. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I want to check that.
Calling shenanigans.
So far, from what my distributor has told me.
Guarantee
and
you'll see everything from Dark Imperial.
Squad.
Hang on, it says here. So in the Warhammer Community Icons Codex Space Marines, it says, we can't tell you about all of these yet. We can guarantee you'll see everything from Dark Imperium, our new Primaris heroes, the Ravers, the Reavers, the Repulsor, the Colossal Dreadnought. There are also all the characters and units you know and love, including chapter-specific special characters that will unlock yet more avenues. That implies, but not proves, that the unique flavor units are on top of the units we know and love.
Let me explain it using the index then. In the index for the Space Wolves, right at the beginning, it tells you all of the units that they can take, tells you the page number to find them in the index. They do that in the index for the Forge World ones as well. So I think they might do something like that to save space. If they include all of the units, I would love it, but then the indexes would make little to no sense.
To be fair though, we've always worked under the assumption it was the same with Age of Sigmar. We got a tied over rule set to get everything in the game, and then as the Grand Alliance books and the battle tomes came out, they updated the units as they went along.
Now, here's what I think they might do, and I agree with that, because, well, you're right about that. I think they might do, like, generic units that aren't going to change per book. It's just going to be an entry, like the Scout Squad. It's going to be the same regardless of what chapter you take, except for Black Templar, who are in the Space Marine Codex.
Crusader squads, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but here's the thing about the Tactical Squad. If a unit contains 10 models, one Space Marine replaces bolt gun with an item from the special weapon list, and one other Space Marine may replace his bolt gun with an item from the heavy weapon list. Weapon list. Missile launcher, heavy bolt gun, multi-melta, las cannon, grav amp, plasma cannon, no heavy flamer.
We think grav cannons in tactical squads now. Oh dear. So they've got 6+ feel no pain. So they've got
it's better than a feel no pain, as it ignores mortal wounds.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, what we call this, like, after you lose a wound, roll the d6 to ignore it. I call that feel no pain.
Kind of like how I call the +1 to hit something, like with a power fist, unwieldy.
Actually, the other thing this should be noted here is this will stack with apothecaries and things like that. it does stack. It's not that you roll both. It's not like, oh, this replaces.
It all just happened so fast.
Is or overrules. You take both. We think.
Unless you're playing Nova.
Oh, is that have they changed that?
I don't know if they're going to change it just yet. I still have to read the new rules and everything, but I'm pretty sure they are going to change it so that it's just a +1.
The difference is instead of giving like dreadnoughts and stuff, it will not die. They've now got that feel no pain as well, which is worth noting.
Same with Land Raiders.
But it's also said here, as well as all stratagems available to Space Marine armies like Killshot and Armor of Contempt, which we don't know about yet. The Iron Hand's Machine Empathy stratagem lets vehicles move and shoot without penalties to hit on their heavy weapons, and even advance and shoot without penalties for their assault weapons.
Actually, that's huge.
That is pretty huge. We've also got to look at their special relic, which is a unique power axe, which is +2 strength, 3 AP, damage 2.
Is it unwieldy?
Doesn't say so.
Nice.
And their warlord trait is something to do with melee, because it's called, I think it's like extra attacks by the looks of it, from their warlord trait. So that's going to be a pretty powerful pairing.
I still think I'm going to stick with the Ultramarines, though.
Yeah, like the Ultramarines might be in the long run the most powerful pairing, but I do think that the other ones are not invalid, and I think that's the main thing.
No. They're definitely really good. It's just that, here's the biggest thing. I've noticed a way of dealing with large tanks in 40k, and I do this all the time, is I literally consolidate into them. They have to back up, and they can't fire.
Mm-hmm.
With this, the Ultramarine Land Raider gets to back up and still fire.
Yeah, that's a valid
Silly
point.
question. Do we know the chapter tactics for like Blood Angels, Dark Angels, and Space Wolves yet?
No,
they're going to be in their own unique codexes.
So for all we know, they could end up being even better.
Yeah.
God, yes.
I mean, just to speculate for a second, I reckon the Blood Angels will be to do with either Deep Strike or it will be the Red Thirst, brought in some way. The Dark Angels one was always about Overwatch last edition, so that could be fun.
And Stealth.
In Dark Angels?
And Betrayal.
Yeah. And Betrayal. Dark Angels did nothing wrong.
Yeah, and the Space Wolves...
Melee.
It'll
be melee. So
but the problem is that at what point... Because with what the Black Templars have got, it'll be interesting to see what they'll do with the Space Wolves, actually.
I don't know, maybe give them like additional +1 attack in close combat or something. I don't know.
That's not a bad shout, actually. That's not a bad shout. But we shall see in due course, because we've got another 5 codices before the end of the year, which includes Grey Knights, which are next. Then it's Chaos, then it's Death Guard, and then there's 2 more that we don't know about yet.
Eldar, maybe?
And none of them are Sisters of Battle.
Or is it 10? Oh god, was it 6 or 10 that they were going to have by the end of the year? Oh, I might have got that wrong. It might be there's another 4 that we don't know about on top of that.
All I know is none of them are Sisters of Battle, and I'm really upset by that.
And part of me's hoping that one day we'll get a chapter tactics for Blood Ravens. Maybe in the Chaos Codex.
Actually,
actually, there.
If you go on to... this is funny, because there's an article on Warhammer Community about choosing the right chapter tactic for your successors. And do the Blood Ravens come up? Yeah, the Blood Ravens come up and say, if I were to do it, I would take a few layers and take the Imperial Fists as their chapter tactic to be thematic. That's what the... To be fair, this is written by someone. Yeah, this is written by someone from our community who is, and I quote, a master of Warhammer lore.
Well,
I hate when people call themselves master of Warhammer lore. That's so cringy.
I wonder who that's pointed at.
Badum Tish. Funny thing is, there is actually some credence for the Blood Ravens being Imperial Fists, just because they got Rogel Dawn's weapon. But then again, they nick
which
everything.
One?
Was it Hammer? No, Fist of Dawn. Fist of Dawn.
That's Lysander's weapon, isn't it?
No, sorry. Which one is it? Is it Fist of Dawn? It's like a power mace.
Yeah, it was literally wielded by their Primarch.
Hang on, let me get my my script up. Where is it?
Yeah, because I know Storm's Teeth
sorry,
was
Rogel's Fist. Rogel's Fist.
Okay, yeah, because Storm's Teeth was broken by Dawn at the end of the Heresy, and Sigismund ordered it reforged into the Sword of the High Marshals. Which makes no sense, by the way. A chainsword gets broken and gets turned into a power sword.
Well, I mean, you just melt it down and use its parts to create.
True.
The next
And they
weapon.
mention the exorcists as well, being what you should do is take the iron hands because they're particularly tough to survive the demonic possession, or do something else with them and maybe give them Raven Guard because they're so secretive.
Or just give them the Grey Knights one when the Grey Knight Codex comes out.
They do make reference to the Black Dragons and the Salamanders, though, so this person does at least know a little bit about what they're doing.
True.
Although
Well,
they
are
actually,
a master of lore.
though they suggest giving them the Black Templars one instead because they're close combat based. Whatever.
Black Templars, a successor chapter. Oh, no, sorry. Black Dragons, successor chapter of Black Templars confirmed.
Aye.
Not Dragons and
Wait.
Knights, it makes sense. It's phonetic.
Oh my god.
And that's the news, actually. It's been a bit of a quiet...
No. The Sisters of Silence got their...
Dildo
Don't
tank.
say it. Yes. It's up for pre-order. And it's 85 pounds. What the hell are they thinking? It's a rhino that flies.
That's more than a Primarch. If that's in English money, that's more than a Primarch.
I'm going to double
Yeah.
check this right now.
Yeah, please do, because 85 quid is more than I paid for Magnus.
It's more than what Magnus is. 85 pounds, yes.
Bloody hell.
It weighs
how-
as much as it costs.
How
It's-
big is
it's-
this thing anyway?
It might be the size of a Land Raider.
In fairness, it does look pretty big standing next to a regular Marine.
But still.
Yeah.
It's about the size of a Land Raider.
I'm
That's-
still annoyed.
Yeah,
At the price.
that's like... I mean, a Land Raider is about 40 quid, so...
Well, unless you want one of the 412 ones.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
Then you're paying about 65 quid.
Okay. When you balance it out against everything else, it's not so terrible, but then again, it's still bad.
I'm still annoyed with it.
I can imagine.
You're annoyed about everything, Alexis.
No, I wanted to run this. I really wanted a couple of them to run with my Sisters of Silence.
Just make your own. Just proxy them. I'm not
Well-
suggesting what you use to proxy them. I'm just saying proxy them. Get your minds out the gutter.
For God's sake.
I am not making the jokes today.
No, actually. So yeah, is there anything else that I've missed in the news?
I think that's about it. I mean, in non-40k related news, then they've released a trailer for Norska for Total Warhammer, but that's about it, really.
I saw the Dark Elf one, which actually I was watching the trailer. I was like, "Is that who I think it is?" Yeah, that's Malekith. Okay, that's cool. Wasn't exactly how I expected Malekith to sound, but hey, that's fine.
I haven't seen that one. How does he sound? Do an impression.
It is very deep. Like,
Do an impression.
I can't remember it exactly I can't remember the line he spoke, so I'm not going to try.
Does he sound like Barry
but-
White?
I don't know I can't remember Barry
I
White's
thought
voice.
you said Betty White.
I'm sorry. You don't. Did you say you don't know who Barry White is?
I know the name, but I don't know anything about him.
Oh my god.
I know. I'm young. Deal with it. But
Alexis,
yeah,
please tell me you
Episode
know who
of
Barry White
Remleiz and
is.
Michael arguing?
but basically, he's in a conversation with Marathi as they're taking a High Elven city. So, well, actually, no, it's Marathi talks for about 2.5 minutes for most of the trailer, and Malekith says about 3 words. So, it's really deep. Like
It's like,
it's-
I want pizza.
no, it was a lot more gravelly than that.
Pizza.
Yeah, actually, something like that.
So Malekith is a
So
death
he's
metal vocalist.
Megatron.
So it was like, I've only just begun, and that's a really bad impression. But it was really deep. So
Wait, is he like Batman or Megatron?
actually, Batman's not a bad analogy. Christian Bale's not a bad analogy.
Oh
Christian-
god. Oh god, I'm having measures
That's
now.
awesome.
It's like,
Just go and check. Go check it
We're
for
at the
yourself to make sure I'm
drugs.
getting that right. But that's how I think I remember it sounding.
Again, I am sorry about the vehicles in the background. I can't control that.
Bloody
Not your fault. It's fine. But yeah, so with North, that's confirmed the roster fully for TW2, which is nice. I don't think there's anything much in Age of Sigmar related news aside from the announcement of Skirmish and all the stuff that's going on with that, which is I don't know quite how similar it's going to be.
Are we going to talk about the new kits and the guy with the grappling hook?
Oh yes,
The what?
the new box set, because they got the Reaver box set, and there's a guy who's literally shooting a grappling hook.
Oh,
That's going to look so cool for like
Dioramas.
terrain pieces, like dioramas. Thank you.
But
That's going to look amazing for that.
But if someone actually runs that in game, that's just going to be hilarious.
It's going to break immediately. It's going to break quicker than Celestine.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean,
Actually, that's what's a more fragile model, Celestine or the Incarnate?
I don't know who the Incarnate is,
You know,
but I
the
can tell you I
the Avatar of an Aid. I
Oh,
reckon
yeah,
Celestine.
Celestine, without a doubt. I broke mine like 6 times already.
If you think about the Incarnate, it's kind of like wrapped in flames, like there's a full solid flames base, and then the model's kind of in the middle, so I suspect you could probably ground it quite well, even if you weren't a Master Sculptor. The Celestine is properly up in the air.
Just because I watched Duncan's video on pings in the Incarnate, and when he was painting it, the entire thing was just wobbling like fuck, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Was it? Oh god.
Yeah, because literally it's hanging off the end of the spiral, and the spiral's got nothing supporting it until he gets right to the base.
I mean, to be fair, that's a very easy fix. It's a much easier fix than Celestine in terms of like balancing it out, because you can easily like put a column through the middle.
True.
But yeah, I imagine Celestine. If
Celestine is not fun. She breaks every single, like, I have her in a nice foam base thingy. She still breaks.
Would you be? I don't know if you could do this. Do you like magnetize her wings? So like you could magnetize her.
No,
like,
it's not her wings. It's somebody is playing bass outside my house. It's not the wings. It's actually where the scroll connects to her.
Yeah, that makes
pops
sense.
off. Her hands pop off. It's ridiculous.
Would you? Well, I mean, I'm not an expert, but is it probably too small an area to pin or magnetize there?
Hello?
Hello?
Sorry,
Okay,
just cut
sorry
out
about
for a
that.
second.
I muted my mic because there was literally bass blasting.
Oh right, sorry. But yeah, would you
Noise
be able?
Marines.
Do you think there's enough space on Celestine's feet to magnetize her to the scroll?
There isn't.
Ah,
I looked into it. I actually got the Grimdark Celestine model.
oh yeah, you mentioned this.
Yeah, one of my fans sent it along with a certain body pillow that I hate.
Oh yeah.
Is that the model that's got the version of Celestine with the massive exposed cleavage?
Yeah. But I'm going to have her solidly painted as though she's in armor.
Thank you.
Because I can't stand models that are like, hey, look, boobs. It's like
That
Cat.
female cipher.
I actually do like that
Demonettes.
female cipher.
Actually-
I really, really want that female cipher.
Oh, actually, I should mention this. It was mainly previewed for AOS, but there is a Start Collecting Demons of Slanesh,
Hooray!
which is going to be.
Somebody asked me again, do you think they're going to phase out Slanesh? And in Chaos Index, Slanesh is on page 69 with a demon that has multiple boobs just exposed. They are not phasing out Slanesh in any way, shape, or form.
Especially with the release of this new box set.
Funny enough, I got a message on Facebook asking, do you think they're phasing out the Space Wolves after everything that happened with Fenris? And I was like...
No, they completely reinforced them.
Yeah, and I made said point.
I mean, they have more Primaris Marines now, and very, very few Wolfen.
That's a good thing.
Have you known?
Yeah, considering that the Grey Knights would just wipe them out if they saw them.
Yeah, we think.
Possibly.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I think I've said this before. Nothing has changed. It's like we've gone forward 200 years or whatever, but nothing's changed apart from like.
No, there's a Tyranid fleet devouring other Tyranid fleets now.
What?
Yeah, that's in Dark Imperium. There's a Tyranid fleet that flew past other planets to attack other Tyranid fleets. So there's finally a confirmed case of Tyranid on Tyranid action.
I would expect that more to be finishing off a weakened High Fleet to just create a Mega Doom fleet.
Full High Fleets.
Speaking of which, I'm currently reading through Storm of Iron, And can we just talk about the silliness of the fact that the Iron Warriors infected a Leviathan hive ship with the Obliterator virus to use as a Titan transport? Yeah. That's canon. The Iron Warriors hijacked a Leviathan hive ship and infected its brain with the Obliterator virus and enhanced it with mechanical parts, and they use it to drop off Titans.
What?
That is canon.
Come on!
That is canon.
And yet, female Space Marines, that goes against the fluff.
Oh, a lot of things go against the fluff that are canon. Let's bear that in mind.
Yeah, like, Cadia blowing up and then coming right back together.
Or the human Eldar hybrids.
Yep.
Let's move on before we just go off on it.
That's also Storm of Iron, by the way, one of them, I think, if I recall correctly. The one that ends up trying to kill Cato Zacharias. No, that's a different book. Sorry, my bad.
But yeah, this Hive Fleet is attacking full Hive Fleets. It's kind of interesting. I have a theory about it, but I want to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, I'd give it a bit more time before you go jumping into any conclusions.
But my theory, this is just a theory, is that that's the remains of the Hive Fleet that exited the warp and kind of like Chaos reprogrammed it to kill other Tyranids.
Well, it's now canonically possible to do so, apparently, so why not?
Also, apparently Hive Fleets keep information from each other.
Yes, that's true, because that's why I think for a while, I know the answer to this, is why like the Parasite of Mortrax hasn't been replicated elsewhere, or the Red Terror, or the other stuff. There's only one of them.
Hang on, wasn't the Red Terror just basically reprogrammed into Trigons?
It's a Ravner Alpha.
It's a what?
It's a Ravener.
It's a Ravner Alpha.
Yeah, so basically it's just like a prototype Ravener.
Yeah, but
kind of like how I was at the Doom of Malantide. That was a prototype Neurothrope. Neurothrope, not Zoanthrope.
Yeah, sorry. A Neurothrope is just an upgraded Zoanthrope. I just forget.
It's always possible that these unique nids that such as the Parasite of Mortrax, in the eyes of the hive-minded, probably just thought, we try this out. It's shit. Don't bother replicating it.
Except the Doom wiped out an entire craft world single-handed, and the Parasite.
The Doom did. Yeah, that's why they mass produced them as Neurothropes.
Also decimated.
The Parasite was a huge success.
So is the Red Terror and Old One Eye.
The difference, I think, actually, a point with the Red Terror is the Red Terror was never re-assimilated, we don't think. It kind of got stuck on a ship and went on a rampage and then escaped, so it may not have been able to get back to the Hive Fleet to report, quote-unquote, its success. So I can sort of justify the Red Terror, and Old One Eye for the longest time was believed dead or frozen, so he was kind of gone for a long time.
He was just stuck wandering on Macbag.
Has appeared with other Hive Fleets.
That is true. That is now true.
Yeah. So my theory is that maybe the Tyranids don't actually... They are one hive mind for one fleet. Like, maybe the Norn Queen only commands a certain quantity of ships. And then there's another one.
So, are you basically saying, like, we got the Norn Queens, and somewhere there's a Norn Empress?
No, I'm saying that...
No, that's been the established theory up to this point, is that the Norn Queens... I think what Alexis, or I think the comparison is that the Norn Queens, as we've believed them to now, have been like giant cynatic amps, boosting the Hive Mind's will to control an entire fleet. What's being suggested is that they aren't amplifiers, they're the linchpins, with their own independent consciences.
Yep.
Right, got you.
This also feeds into the theory of why the Swarm Lords don't change, and they stick with... there's multiples of them, but they stick with the Hive Fleets that they are associated with.
But then why are they all the same?
They specialize in different things, maybe? Because...
No, as in the Swarm Lord that fought on Macragge against Calgar is exactly...
Might have made a reappearance.
But the thing is, that was with Behemoth. That Swarm Lord, there's now a Swarm Lord on Octarius, we believe, and that's with Leviathan.
There's
Why
also
is
it could be simply a case of misidentification. They're so similar they believe it is the same Swarm Lord. Because don't forget, there were other big prominent Hive Tyrants, like the Dagon Overlord, for example.
The Dagon Overlord might actually get rules.
We've had this discussion because it's got a relic. I don't think a relic named after it. I don't think it will. But
regardless, so you've got the Swarm Lord and you've got the Dagon Overlord. That probably just means all these other instances of being the Swarm Lord are just similar organisms designed for a similar role through like convergent evolution in the Hive fleets.
Perhaps.
Or just they're alpha versions of the Hive Tyrant species.
That all wield the same weapons and all show the same tactical flair, and that can show themselves to adapt after their destruction.
In fairness, it could be something due to the fact, like, if you want to use...
Hive Tyrants do that normally, though.
If you want to use, like, another sci-fi universe's logic to basically apply a similar thing here, it could be something similar to the fact that the Swarm Lord are, like, close to being the blueprint of the original Nids. So that's why they're all the same with the same weapons, because they're basically the blueprint of the original creature. Like, if you look in...
They're like Patient Zero.
Kind of, yeah. Like, if you look at, say, StarCraft, you've got these Cerebrets, which are basically the original Zerg just beefed up, essentially. But they're the original prototype, just larger. So it could be something similar in this regard, if using that logic. Like, the Swarm Lord is literally just like the original design of the Nid, just beefed up. That's why they'll look the same, because they don't want to mess with it, because they know, right, we know this works, this is basically us in our purest form.
Okay, I can buy that logic. Okay.
Well, it also explains why things like Trevagons don't change. They change their weaponry, but their weaponry is separate organisms attached to them, but their base design is the same.
And that also explains why every Tyranid is the same as every other Tyranid.
Yep.
As well as convenience, I suppose. Yeah, it's just like with the lower stuff, like anything that's not like the top of the swarm, I can understand a lot of uniformity because, well, it's just refinement and additional whatever. It's just like, why is that one, like, the equivalent to the queen on the chessboard, always the same if the king that created it is designed and isn't designed to be the same? It's a different consciousness, a different set of strategies. And it just made me wonder, was all.
Actually, it kind of reminds me of like an ant colony. The male ants look drastically different, but they're all the same between colonies.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And you have the queen ant.
Then you have the dead ant. You know, like the Pink Panther. Dead ant. Dead ant. Sorry, I wanted to use that AVGN joke for a long time. I'm sorry.
Oh dear. But yeah, that is interesting.
But
didn't we actually get?
I do know that each individual Hive fleet might actually get its own rules. This was suggested with the Hive fleet tactics, so we might see something similar to the Space Marine Codex, where they're including characters like Canto Sakaris. Not Canto Sakaris.
Cato.
I almost called him the other word, so I tried to correct it halfway through.
Well, you didn't.
Try again.
I know.
Try again.
No, I was going to call him a cunt, so...
This is why I said try again.
No, I actually meant, like, different characters, like
Khan, Cantor, and stuff.
Yeah, like Pedro and things like that.
Well,
I think the Tyranids are going to see different characters for really different Hive fleets.
To be fair, I'm hoping that's the same across all the races. Like, the Eldar Craft Worlds get specialization again. The Imperial Guard actually get proper regiment.
Oh yeah, we know that they're going to, because they have the chapter tactics and they each work with their own unique chapter tactics. Although we did find a way. Sorry, I can't talk right now. But we did find a way to break their ally rules, where me and a teammate chose the exact same chapter. We chose Order of Our Martyred Lady, and thus my Canoness was affecting his units.
Yeah, that kind of goes without saying, but because cross-detachmental stuff. But yeah, okay. I mean, to be fair, it was always going to be the case that there is advice on multiplayer battles in the rulebook, but whether it says you can't use the same keywords, I don't know. Like that, but I doubt
we basically just played as one player. That was the thing.
Yeah, and like I say, I do hope and expect that we will see almost every army get something like keyword chapter tactics for regiments, septs, craft worlds, even hive fleets. I'm hoping it does really become a thing.
I'm hoping we get the return of Hive Fleet Colossus.
If we don't, make it
something
up.
has to take Leviathan's spot.
Well, don't forget. In regards to Hive Fleet Colossus, which was apparently the very first Hive Fleet to enter the Milky Way galaxy in M28, apparently, and were active all the way until M38. How the hell do you miss a Tyranid Hive Fleet for, that long? I don't have a fucking clue. Then again, it was mostly Zodes.
The other thing is that you talk about Leviathan. You talk about Leviathan, Alexis. I get the feeling Behemoth's still going to get rules. And Behemoth's dead. And Behemoth's been dead for centuries at this point.
That's true.
And I mean, Kraken was effectively broken at Eandon, so any Hive Fleet that isn't Leviathan getting rules will be, yeah.
Well, there's Gorgon as well, in fairness.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Yeah, Gorgon, Jormungandr,
I mean, dead characters get rules all the time, so...
Alvar, for example, yeah.
Hive Fleet Panda. Most dangerous animal from Terra's history.
I like the scorpion monkeys.
That was stupid.
Come on, that was funny.
That
was
funny.
They had an entire argument about it.
Yeah. Have you read Master of Mankind, Michael?
No.
Just that one scene, they're looking at the remains of long extinct monkeys. I believe this uses its tail to hang from tree branches. You're a fucking idiot. It's obviously a stinger.
The Imperium of Man, renowned for logic for 10,000 years.
Yeah.
We lost the STC from monkeys, apparently. They did building a monkey servitor.
Was it a servitor or a cherub?
Could have been either, really, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Also, surely if you wanted to know how monkeys work, just look at the Jacaro.
Those are apes, you speciest.
Yeah, wow. I see. He can't tell the crude apart, let alone some apes.
He thinks apes are monkeys? God. Racist.
I mean, in his language, it translates to slave anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I find it fun that the Jacaro officially have no language, that they have a word for the deceiver.
Well, that makes flipping sense.
It's the Imperium. No one's ever accused them of being, smart.
Intelligent?
Yeah, the amount of times when I'm writing scripts, I have to say, well, supposedly this, or according to sources this. It's just I don't know if I believe this, so I'm just going to be careful just before I state exactly what happened.
Well, I mean, the lore changes between books. I mean, just for instance, the Titan size between Horus Heresy novels.
The size of the Black Templars, which according to some sources is 1,000, and other could be up to 6.
The size of Space Marines between pages.
Yeah.
He's still 7 feet tall. The monster is 8 foot tall. I was like, hang on, where did he get that 7 foot from? Did he have a growth spurt? Or is he going up to 70s disco?
Or, the fact that they forget their internal organs.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we got the names of the Primaris organs, didn't we?
Yes. The Belisarius
I like the
furnace.
defibrillator. That one's my favorite.
Yeah. That was
the what?
The defibrillator.
The one basically, if the Primarch dies, it basically resuscitates their hearts.
Oh, they have an internal defibrillator, apparently.
Yeah, the Belisarius furnace.
Yeah, and why are so many people mad that Belisarius is taking credit for all this shit? I would too.
He's not the only person who's making technological advancements, which is heresy!
Well, in all fairness, he's not making any new technology. He's simply improving upon older technology. He's an engineer, not a scientist.
True, and in fairness, the Primarchs themselves did have unique organs.
I wouldn't differentiate engineering from as not being a science. Engineering is a science.
But he's not like a full-fledged scientist creating new shit.
He's not a researcher. He's not a researcher. Put it differently. He does research.
More or less just taking pieces of the puzzle and just going, "Oh, this will look cool."
He's a tinkerer, a dabbler.
Or something, yes.
And in fairness, the Primarchs did have unique organs to themselves, so it's perfectly feasible to have these new organs already in the Gene Seed blueprints.
Yep, absolutely.
Possibly more.
And people were still salty about it.
Oh, people are salty about everything law related. As soon as this is the thing I find always weird. Like, the law hasn't moved for like 20 odd years. Why? Please move the plot. Oh God, the plot moved. I don't like it.
Well, GW announced before everything happened. They're like, you do know what's going to happen, right? Everything's going to die. And they're like, no, well, advance the story. Okay, Cadia gets blown up and there's a warp tear across the galaxy. Whoa, GW, calm down! Also, Behemoth is dead. Most of the Blood Angels and their successors are destroyed.
Leviathan. Behemoth's been dead since Macron.
Yes, sorry. I get those two confused. My bad.
Yeah. It's one of those things.
Hey, there's the Space Wolves. Up, they're dead.
Well, someone would argue that GW went too far with what happened to Cadia, with what happened to Fenris, with what happened to Baal, with all that stuff.
It needed to happen, though.
Honestly, some would say they didn't go far enough. Like I said,
I was going to say that.
Aside from like Canis, Kel, Eagle Iron Wolf, no one's died.
No one of
and Alvar.
Anyway.
Alvar,
I still don't know the 11 chapter masters that died during the devastation of Baal.
I'm still pissed off that in 3rd edition they killed off Captain Tycho. It's like, I like Tycho.
They brought him back. Oh
yeah,
no,
he
isn't. No. Yeah, he went Black Rage and then he died in
Armageddon 3.
Yeah, was it Hell's Reach? No.
That was Black Templars.
Where was it? Was it Acheron? I think it was Acheron.
Mm.
I forget right now.
Say they killed him off, and I was like, oh, I liked him.
True. And yet he's still in the Codex.
And yet he's still in the model.
How is Yarrick still alive?
Because he's Yarrick.
Yeah, I know, right?
Because the Orcs believe he can't die.
250 years pass. Greyfax walks into the room. Wait, what? Greyfax, you're like 1500. Yeah, I'm so stubborn I stopped aging.
Actually, while we're talking about Armageddon and the heroes of Armageddon, I want to bring up Grimaldus for a second, because I've just been reading about through Hell's Reach, because reasons. And at the end, Grimaldus says to Helbrecht, I'm going to give the relics back to the people of Hell's Reach. And yet in-game, he has them. His Cenobite services are carrying them around. What gives?
Well, you see, he gave them back for roughly 5 seconds before going, nah, this is stupid, mate. These are mine.
Yeah,
Blood Ravens for life.
It's the same logic that how you can still use Captain Tycho despite the fact he's been dead since Armageddon 3.
My assumption is that, if I'm trying to justify it, is that the population said, no, it's all right. You're the hero of Hell's Reach. You have them. We don't want them. That would be heresy.
Probably, but I mean, they've done worse. The Dark Angels have not the Dark Angels. The Blood Angels have done worse. They made entirely new vehicles, weapons.
In fact,
so did the Black Templars.
So the Salamanders.
The Land Raider Crusaders, not an STC. They made it themselves.
Yep.
Isn't that the same as Salamanders' Land Raider Prometheus?
Yep. And I think the Land Raider Ares.
All Predator.
Yep.
Every retrofitted Rhino in the chapter.
Basically, everyone's committing heresy, and everyone.
Actually, before we leave the Black Templars, I was wondering, how many chapters follow the Imperial Creed?
There's Black Templars. That's one.
Imperial Fists.
No,
they don't.
Well, they worship the Emperor as a god.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. Beast Arises. They actually praise the Emperor as a god.
They're not actually worshipping. They're praising the God Emperor because that's the Imperial Creed, but that doesn't mean they follow it. But even Guilliman's called him the God Emperor at one point around normal Imperial citizens, just
because he had to. Yeah.
Well, he also said that around the Sisters of Battle.
Yeah, exactly. So, aside from the Black Templars, I can't think of a chapter that follows the Imperial Creed.
What are those guys? The crazy Nazis. They do.
Red Scorpions.
Yes.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, I believe so. Same with the Minotaurs.
I know nothing about either of those chapters. I haven't looked into them.
I'm pretty sure the Minotaurs don't.
No, because they follow Holy Terror's extreme ways.
That's because they're literally used as the High Lords of Terror's basic personal execution squad.
I tell you what, I'm going to look up the Imperial Creed now and see what comes up as to whether any.
Because the Minotaurs, they're literally the High Lords of Terror's personal, bounty hunters. Like, these guys, these Space Marines are going renegade. Do something about it.
Are you saying that they are the 300 personal bodyguards?
No, I'm saying that the 1,000 personal bodyguards.
Yeah. Even though the Spartan army was in the tens of thousands, but 300 sounds cool.
Yeah, but it's 300 companions, though, for the Emperor.
Oh, here we go. Whilst many Space Marine chapters continue to observe a form of the older Imperial truth, some do abide by the cult and worship the Emperor as a god. These include the Black Templars and the Red Hunters, who are...
Astral Claw Successor, aren't they?
They're a chapter with ties to the Inquisition. They have an inquisitorial eye on their symbol, and they may have been found... Yeah, there's very little we know about them. Very little. They're the only two listed here, but then again, this was just like mentioned in passing rather than it being a full answer.
Then again, they never really explore this as and I'm not trying to derail it. I am wrong in this part, but they never really explore the chapters like, day-to-day life. Not
as much as they do with like guardsmen and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, or even Sisters of Battle.
In fairness, it's because guardsmen and sisters, they're normal people, so they have normal day-to-day lives, essentially.
I mean, the sisters are as normal as fucking crazy-ass nuns, but yes.
But the thing is, though, literally, a Space Marine's life is literally like, get up, maintain weapon, train, maintain weapon, spar, then lunch,
hypnotherapy.
Yeah, maintenance, tactical briefings, and then about like an hour of free time before bed.
Then
maybe a session in the Reclusium with the chaplains if needed, depending on how zealous they happen to be.
Literally, Space Marines are little more than militant monastic orders. So it's very routine. They don't do anything else really. They don't really exactly go out on the town to go and get completely shit-pissed drunk and fuck prostitutes unless you're the Space Wolves.
I don't know about that. I mean, there is that one book of Space Marines dancing.
Yes, the unofficial Space Hulk expansion. Which is unofficial, I'm afraid. It's one canon.
I still count it because it's funny.
And it was the Ultramarines anyway, so no one really cared.
Apart
from Matt Ward.
Although I did find out something interesting. According to the Rogue Trader, Dark Heresy books, Sisters of Battle are free once they've come back from missions. They're free to go about and have a family.
So being in a convent is more like a tour of duty in a sense.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I mean, the Sisters of Silence did the same when they...
Yes, Sisters of Silence can have families as well.
I mean, not many people want to be around them because, they're blanks, but hey.
But do they talk to their kids?
They only use their hand signs.
And the kid's like, I don't know what you're saying.
I'm assuming that the kids know, which means that's actually really dangerous, that there's a bunch of people around the Imperium that just happen to know.
To be fair, half of, at least probably, we don't know how powerful the blank gene is, but I suspect that a chunk of those children will be blanks themselves, and thus will be brought into the Silent Sisterhood or the Officio Assassinorum anyway.
So what happens?
Try again.
Me?
Yeah.
It's not passed down genetically.
Is it not?
The Emperor tried to isolate the gene that makes people blanks, but it literally is just random. 1 in 1 trillion people get it.
So basically, it's got to come somehow. So it's got to be passed down, even if it's a recessive gene. Now it has maybe a 1 in 1 billion chance of occurring. So it is passed down.
Well, it's 1 in 1 trillion, but yes.
Well, yeah, the odds might be absolutely ridiculous, but
it's still genetic
that gene has to come from somewhere, even if they couldn't isolate it.
Unless literally someone just goes, "Excuse me, syringe. There you go. You're now blank."
Actually, this bears a point. The Sisters of Silence were able to train to make their blank abilities more powerful.
Yep.
So if they could do that, how did they do that?
Probably similar way the Codex Assassins use, because they got that animus speculum, which basically amplifies their blank
That's
powers.
an amplifier. No, it was said that they could train through unknown methods to make them better blanks.
I know, but they probably have to use something like that to start off with.
They can also recede their abilities as well.
Yes,
they'll still be incredibly uncomfortable to be around, but the Emperor of Mankind can walk right up to him, no problem.
Yes, but don't forget, the Emperor of Mankind is like a super alpha class psyker. Being around the Sister of Science could be no more than like a bee sting to him, at most.
Actually, this makes a point. On Prospero, obviously, a chunk, I think I have the exact number. I think it was 3,000. Was it 3,000? Hang on a minute. It was... Yeah, 3,000 sisters went to Prospero. How many did they think they needed to keep the bloody Thousand Sons and Magnus in check? Because the Thousand Sons were able to actually use their powers pretty freely toward the end, once the Silent Sisters started dropping, and Magnus seemed completely unhindered in his fight with Russ. So, how many sisters do you need to stop the Thousand Sons?
Knowing Magnus, he probably pulled away from the Sisterhood.
It can't have done, quite frankly, because...
No, he could have lured Lehman to chase after him.
No,
Lehman's
that didn't happen. They
all advanced in basically as one huge horde. The sisters basically tried to make like psychic blank spots to stop like the pirate cult and that from using their powers on the space walls.
I've read it full through in book 7. The way it worked is that all the sisters were deployed in one spot because the Thousand Sons were causing so much havoc that Valdor had to put all of the sisters together just to protect him and then protect Ross once they caught up to him. They needed all 3,000 in one place to shut the Thousand Sons down without Ahriman, without Armon, without Phocis Takar, without Magnus.
We also don't know how much the Thousand Sons were there.
Yes, we do. About
pretty much all of them.
No, it wasn't. It was only about maybe 2/3 tops, because a good chunk were actually scattered. Let me go back because there's a huge amount of detail. Book 7 is fantastic for detail.
Info, by the way, for those listening at home.
Yes, just seriously, even if you don't play any of these 4 armies, if you are a lore buff, get this damn book because we know we can actually. I think it was about 60,000 legionaries were on Prospero.
Jesus Christ!
I think. To be fair, the Legion was 100,000 strong. Bear that in mind.
Yeah.
Let me check my Thousand Sons lore. I might have mentioned it there.
But still, to stop all of that, I could see the sisters needing that. I mean, in Master of Mankind, they deployed like tens of thousands of them.
Into the webway against warp-based entities.
That is a point. The mustering of the host. No.
The fact of the matter is, they needed like at least, how many was it? Like 3,000 was it, sisters?
3,000 were deployed, yes.
They're going to need that much to even stand a chance against Magnus, considering that Magnus is also a super alpha class psyker. He's second most powerful psyker in the entire
That also raises the point. When, the Battle of Luna, do we know how many sisters were deployed to Luna?
I am unaware.
It's also said there were about 62,000 Thousand Sons on Prospero at the time, just so you know. But yeah, because it said that the sisters that went to Luna were able to disrupt Magnus enough to allow Guilliman to beat him. So we don't, and that was Demon.
We know a Covenant was with them, but we don't know the exact size of a Covenant.
I think I could probably check that actually.
In fairness, in regards to Luna, the Horus Heresy books did state that there was actually a prison on Luna that was guarded by the Sisters of Science, because that's where you had the Lord of the Flies show up, and Garrow ended up being
yes, but that was in the Heresy, and the Sisters were practically... Well, the thing is...
The thing is, what we know, they could still have had that prison still being manned by the Sisters of Science or something like that.
No. The Sisters were pretty much disbanded post-Heresy. There was one group that the Imperium knew about, and they were not on Luna when the War of the Beast rolled around. And they really did not really want to work with the Imperium. The first we saw of the Sisters after that was, M41, when their host showed up with the Custodians. So I don't think that prison was manned.
In Imperium 2, it actually explains the Sisterhood was always there, but a lot of them went on to be civilians, quote unquote. I don't know how much of a civilian you can be when you're 7'6" and you're a fucking Amazon.
They effectively disbanded.
But they still explain that they had covenants still active.
Let me have a look. I'm just going to have a quick read through the organization in Book 7 and see if that gives any numbers.
So if they still had covenants still active post-heresy up until the Ultramar and Terran Crusade and all that, that prison on Luna could have still been manned.
It's not mentioned.
Or even just turned into, like, you know, some kind of like covenant that's not even a prison anymore. It's just there so they can live there in peace, figuratively speaking.
Or worship the Emperor.
Possible. Yeah, definitely possible.
Or didn't they view Guilliman as a living saint?
Yep.
It's like Guilliman's going like, what the fuck? You've been listening to Lord, haven't you?
Actually, Guilliman kind of just agrees.
He does not see the Emperor as a god.
No. When it comes to dealing with Imperial citizens who believe in the God Emperor, he just kind of goes, yeah, and then just moves on.
Well, yeah, he has to. He's a politician. He knows how to play the game. He knows how to keep people's spirits up. He's a politician at heart. So he's not going to turn and say, well, actually, you know, he's just going to be like, yes, the God Emperor, yes, I am the son of the God Emperor. The God praise the God Emperor, yeah. And he goes home and sits in his room and cries. He was like, why is everyone so fucking stupid?
Although at the end of Dark Imperium, he actually does question the divinity of the God Emperor.
I thought it wasn't divinity question, is he? It was more like, how can anyone see him as? I thought that was the quote.
No, he questioned the divinity of the God Emperor. I mean, there's only so much you can say that the Emperor isn't a god when you see a giant saint flying around.
What is the exact quote at the end?
Yeah, do you have it?
I don't, unfortunately.
Okay, well, someone who does have it, stick it in the comments and we'll have a look at it. We might mention it next time. Maybe stick it in a question for us.
Yes.
Speaking of questions, we've been going for about an hour now, so anything else to add before we move on?
We didn't argue.
Yet.
Not properly, no. We haven't had one of those rip-roaring debates that the comments probably either love or hate us for yet.
Well, apparently they just hate on me, so you're good.
Oh no, I get some flack as well. You're not the only one.
Don't worry, someone's already written the fan fiction of you two.
Fuck.
Why?
I think they believe that you two hate us so much that you're just gonna fuck.
But I have no.
So anyway, question time.
Michael at all. It's just I can't get freaky with a Tau. They're weird.
I think we broke Michael.
No, I didn't know what to say without someone taking it the wrong way, so I just shut up.
Just based on our characters, I'm not even sure if we could literally see each other.
My character is a psyker.
So I would partially see you.
Yeah, the way I've done my character back, so I won't do it here, but yeah, he is a psyker.
So, moving on to questions, shall we?
Yep, go for it.
Okay, question for Remleiz and Alexis. Michael need not apply.
Yeah, I answered this one on stream.
Okay. What would happen to a Thousand Suns vehicle? For example, if 3 Marines were inside it when the rubric was performed, would they possess it?
The answer's... actually, go on. I've got something I need to add to this about the Legion, but go on.
It's a very interesting one. Well, firstly, it would depend if the vehicle itself is open-topped or not, because demonic possession only affects closed vehicles, doesn't it?
It's not possession, though. It's the rubric.
I know, but still, same thing. The vehicle has to be sealed. Because the armor's sealed, isn't it? So.
Good point.
Well, if they're wearing that armor, I doubt it, because they'll just possess their armor while they're inside the vehicle. I would assume.
Well, one thing I've learned quite recently, reading up on the Thousand Suns, is that they basically don't have any anymore. The modern day Thousand Suns practically have no vehicles.
Isn't that all they have is dreadnoughts?
The Legion back in the day was renowned for its psychic and for its speed. So it had a lot of reconnaissance and a lot of flyer support. So you could understand maybe their flyers coming something like demon engines like Helldrakes and Helltalons in the future, but the actual armoured power of the Legion was not particularly renowned, and in the modern day, they apparently barely have any tanks at all, if any.
Well, there you go.
I only learned that quite recently, so I thought I'd just point that out as an addendum.
I didn't have an answer for that because, well, I kind of agree with both of you.
Fair enough.
Fairs.
Question for Remleiz. If the Primarchs and the Emperor were Transformers, what would they transform into, and what would you rename them? Oh, for God's sake.
Oh, God.
By the way, where the hell is the Remleiz dubstep? No.
I'm working on it.
Oh, dear.
Not going to go into too much detail, but essentially a combination of tanks and jets, essentially. Maybe Vulcan himself turns into a giant dragon. I don't know. Because we need a beast mode in that somewhere. Okay.
What is Vulcan and not like Conrad?
Well, I'll tell you what. Conrad he'll basically be mind wipe. He turns into a giant bat and he can have his head come off. There you go.
Okay.
Do the Men of Iron have any presence in the warp? We know the STC got corrupted by chaos, but how sentient are they? They were sentient, essentially as sentient as artificial intelligence could go, but
we had this debate about whether they have a soul. We did this whole AI soul debate, didn't we? I know I've had the AI soul debate. I'm sure.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So if we agree they don't have a soul, they can't have a warp presence.
Okay. Can Alexis be redeemed?
My demon character? No. Well, I do have a human soul. Maybe?
Meh.
I mean, the process would kill me.
Fair enough.
But redemption in death is a thing.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Could you list all the words the Orcs use when referring to the other races? Well, I know they call Space Marines beakies, Eldar pansies, squats stunties, Tyranids bug eyes.
I think they call them. I think it's grib. Actually, give me a second. I'm gonna try and. No, I don't have it. In my old 4th Ed Codex, they talk about like what happens on a Space Hulk a little bit, and there's a quote in there about. I think they call the Gene Stealers Gene Sneakers. I think, and it's just dem Chaos Boys.
Or spiky kids.
Hang on, I'm just going to look at. So I've got
spiky
a copy
boys.
of the Orc glyphs for the Orc lexicon here.
Yeah, I've got the glyphs, but I don't. I know there was a quote in the 4th Ed Codex about like traveling in space is boring unless like you're on a space up with dem Chaos Boys or some dem Gene Sneakers, or you get attacked by demon or whatever they call demons. I can't remember now.
What codex was that in?
4th edition Orcs.
Okay.
It's on the page. I think just before they talk about the various great wars of the time. Before they talk about Gazkul, I think on the next page is a map of the various wars. I think it's in the bottom right-hand corner of a page on the left-hand side. I can see it
Traveling
now.
through space is boring. Well, boring unless the Hulk you're in is flying dem Gene Sneakers, or a base for their Chaos Lads with the spikes, or already has boys on it, or Humies Luton come calling.
Well, see,
This always good for a good. This always good for a bit of sport, and then it goes on for the rest of it. But I'm not going to read the rest.
Before you find a good planet to invade. Traveling in space is actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
Funny thing is, there's also an alternate term for human. Instead of Umi, it's also Uman. I'm guessing that's a different dialect of Orc. Maybe that's more refined Orcs. We call them Umans. Okay.
Or maybe that's just the Space Marine thing from the game.
Okay. What if rather than creating an empire, the Emperor decided to create a democracy/republic? How would this affect 30k and 40k?
Well, he created the illusion of one. To be fair, I'm doing it. I'll put it out by now. I've done a theory about whether Nicaea was all predetermined in advance. So it's almost like he was giving the illusion of choice at times. It looks like you have a say, even if I've got the final decision. The basic rule of the Emperor was either an autocracy where people could have a say, but he got the final say, or a dictatorship where he just decided everything, and it's up to you to decide on what side it fell.
Oh, and Remleiz, really quickly.
Yeah.
Umans. Umans are what they're called. Umans are pink and soft, not tough and green like the boys.
Yeah.
Did they have a word for the Eldar in there?
Pansy.
Oh.
That's it.
And
I don't know.
No, they call them something else as well. Yeah, I'll just keep reading. Just keep going with the questions.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, if the Emperor created an actual proper democracy, well, the Primarchs would have actually been given a purpose. We don't know how much reliance he had on Malkador and how much influence he had over Malkador or Valdor and stuff like that. So it'd have been interesting. I don't think 40k would have changed that much because the High Lords of Terror would probably have still been established, but 30k could have been interesting.
Okay, next question.
It's a lot more democratic than it is in Starship Troopers. Let's put it that way.
Would you like to know more?
I can't wait for that new movie.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Let's hope I don't fuck it up. Next question. It's been accepted for a long time that the Salamanders are one of the most caring chapters looking after the normal Imperial citizens, while all others slaughter them if they are in their way or use them as cannon fodder to achieve their aims.
Or just don't care either way, yeah.
Yeah. Another chapter known for standing up for Imperial citizens are the Space Wolves. Both of these chapters do things outside fighting and training more... what these chapters have in common is increased impurity of gene seed. The purer gene seed chapters seem to do their duty at the cost of humanity. Does this mean the purer gene seed, the less human a Marine is? Interesting.
Interesting idea. I mean, there's a...
Considering that the Emperor's children supposedly have the purest gene seed of the lot, and look how they turned out.
Well, the thing is, to be fair, I think the pre-heresy Imperial Fists are actually... Emperor's children are kind of nice. But if you look at the deficiency rate, the chance of the failure rate for gene seed, there's a little table for it for the first foundings. The Ultramarines were 10%, the Dark Angels 10%, the Imperial Fists 10%, the Scars, the Raven Guard, and the Iron Hands 20%, the Blood Angels 50%, the Space Wolves 75%, and the Salamanders 90% for mutation.
Yes.
But the thing is, that's true, but the Iron Hands are the most callous, I think, of them all. The Dark Angels probably don't care. The Ultramarines, I think, are a bit hit and miss. It seems to vary from book to book. The Imperial Fists...
They're too busy focusing on their stuff around Terra.
They're busy enough, they don't really have a preference. The Raven Guard, nobody bloody knows. And the White Scars don't care either way.
Except for that homeworld.
Which, to be fair, they don't rule over. Like, Jagtai Khan made a point, he's not a conqueror and a ruler. He just took Chogoris over, but then left everybody to it.
Yeah.
So, it's the same...
Because the Blood Angels, being a 50% mutation, are also generally a kind chapter to civilians.
But if you look at the Crimson Fists don't rule Rinceworld. They have the Fortress Monastery there, and the populace love them, but they don't rule it. So,
I like that idea. I might have to make a video on that.
That's interesting.
A really interesting topic.
I didn't find anything about what the orcs call Eldar. I'm sorry.
Okay, no worries. Just while we're talking about stuff like this, we had a question ages ago, I can remember, about a legion that was specialized for void warfare. Well, we found it. It's the Imperial Fists, just so you know.
Surprisingly enough.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I put a quote in the chat if you want to have a read about a little further up from book 3, if you want to have a read of it.
I'll read it later.
Okay.
Where are the best places to find pre-heresy lore, such as the Men of Iron, etc.? Funny enough, the only things that really mention anything about the Men of Iron in detail, funny enough, are Gorn's Ghost series, because they end up fighting the Men of Iron. It's either old Caiaphas Cain, it's one of the two.
It's Ghosts. It's Gorn.
It's Ghosts, okay. It's mentioned in a couple of the Horus Heresy audio dramas, one specifically being Perpetual, was that they actually end up on a world that was ravaged by the Men of Iron. And funny enough, some old Warhammer Monthly comics, because there's actually a thing where the RBTs uncover a vault full of Men of Iron, and they're like, oh shit.
As far as general Great Crusade or Dark Age of Technology era lore goes, the Horus Heresy books often hint back to old Crusade era stuff, but not in particularly great detail.
No.
And the Horus Heresy books from Forge World will lay out a lot of Crusade era lore for the legions, but in terms of going further back than that, well, a lot of stuff in the Age of Strife is forgotten for a reason.
It's also not really important to the lore nowadays.
I disagree.
Just putting it out there.
I think Crusade era lore is important.
But the Men of Iron themselves, they're not really important to the established lore of 40k anymore.
Maybe not.
Okay. Question for Alexis.
Ooh.
What do you feel is the most overpriced weapon and unit in 8th so far?
Out of the armies that I used, I personally think
Much digging ensues.
probably grav cannons and grav guns, because they're just not that good anymore. I think that they're pretty overpriced. Aircrafts are definitely overpriced. I think my Storm Raven's about 300 points after all of its upgrades. And I'm saying just about because, yeah, I kind of forgot. I know it's like 270 or something like that.
Well, I mean, a crisis suit, assuming you give it 3 guns, at bare minimum is 70 points for a crisis suit.
Yeah.
That's with 3 flamers. If you give it, it's 42 points for the suit, and then you give it its upgrades. But I mean, I don't know if that's
Warlord, the Titans are overpriced by quite a bit.
Bear in
1,500 points for a Warhound is way too many points, considering the armament of mine can only kill Titans.
Well, I mean, I'm paying probably 1,000 in change for a Stomper, so
Yeah, but it's not 1,500 points.
yeah, it's more like 1,100 for a vehicle that is vastly inferior.
I actually say the Stomp is better.
With less diverse, with probably guns that aren't really suited to killing big stuff, no defense whatsoever.
It doesn't need it. It just needs a close combat.
It's got to get there, but yeah, true.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like the Titans are a bit too much. I'll go with that. And I mean all Titans, not just my Titan.
Fair enough. Question from Michael.
Uh-oh.
What do you say to a new cast of Tau that would work as an anti-psyker unit, especially
Done.
since the Maledictum...
Sold.
Especially since the Maledictum means the Ethereals can't keep chaos a secret anymore to the wider Empire.
You'd like to think so. And I'm really, really, really interested to see what the the 8th Ed Tau Codex is going to say. As in, where do the Enclaves stand? Because you could work it that the 4th sphere becomes Chaos Tau, that's up to you. But you could also work it that the appearance of the Maledictum, just like the Warp Storms caused... something caused a mass outbreak of psychogenetics before the Age of Strife, am I right?
Yeah.
There was something similar to that happening. So you could evolve Tau Psychers, or, by the same token, Tau Blanks. Or they research the Talismans of Arthas Malok, work out how they work, because they're effectively null zones for demons and such, and retrofit them into an implant that allow Tau to become Blanks. There's so many options they could go with it. I just don't know what they're going to do, and I really hope they do move the Tau's plot forward to make it happen. As for a new cast, I think that might be a stretch, but we might see new units within the Firecast, because the thing you need to bear in mind with the Tau is the Firecast are all of the warriors. All of them. They wouldn't have a cast, they'd have a subgroup within the Firecast.
Fair enough. Okay, question for me. What's your favourite faction/philosophy within the Inquisition? Personally, what's most interesting to me currently at the moment is actually the Horisians, which I'm actually doing some research into. They seem most interesting to me at the moment. Okay, next question. Personally, I feel like 8th edition has been made for competitive tournament play. Where do you stand on this, and is it a good or bad move?
Yes
It
and
definitely
no.
has.
I think if you want to play matched play, yeah, matched play has been geared for competitive. But the fact that open and narrative exist mean you don't have to. I've played narrative now 3 or 4 times, and it's brilliant. It takes more time to plan, but it is brilliant. Open play, haven't played it properly yet, but with the addition of these new open war cards, where you can literally just draw a mission from a deck and play out a mission in like 10 minutes, it really does mean that if you want to play casually, you can. If you want to play thematically, you can. And if you want to play competitively, matched is there. I think matched is designed for competitive, but the game itself isn't.
I disagree with that. I think the game itself is geared more towards streamlining the game enough that it affects the tournament scene, because that's where a lot of the money is.
Oh yeah, it needed to affect the tournament scene. I don't disagree, but
Yeah.
they haven't designed the game solely with competitive people in mind, which I appreciate.
But they also designed this edition asking all the tournament players what they wanted.
True.
They actively showed up to like things like Nova Open, Adepticon, and grabbed people that they knew were tournament players, tournament organizers, and asked them to design this edition. That being said, the one thing that we did change to make it more competitive is kill points are now completely gone in my battle reports, except for the next one that you're going to see after this. But we're no longer doing kill points. Instead, when we do kill points, you get the power level as points for the unit. It makes it a lot more fair, and after talking it over with a lot of people, I do agree with Michael on this, that it is a lot more fair to gain the power levels versus gaining 1 kill point for killing a super heavy.
Oh my god, Alexis just admitted she was wrong. This is the first.
I've admitted I was wrong 3 times in this episode. I am being nice.
I know. Actually, I want to raise something here, because I saw an article. It was on Bell of Lost also, and it was, I think, an editorial piece. So don't take it as gospel. But apparently, there is a bit of a problem right now with an Alpha Strike just dominating the meta. Apparently,
well, that's exactly what everybody wanted, though. Like that's flat out what everybody.
Wait. So they went to tournaments and said, "I want a game that ends on turn 1." That's what you lot said.
I want a game that ends a lot sooner.
There's a difference between soon and on turn 1 before the opponent gets a go.
Yeah, it's fine. Proper deployment is extremely important in this edition. If you're not properly deployed, and you do get a lot of time for proper deployment, you don't deserve to win.
Yes, but there's
with a deck that doesn't work, you don't win.
There's turning up and there's deploying badly and getting punished for it. I accept that. I understand that completely. But even it seems that these people who do know how to deploy are just getting spanked on turn 1, and
don't properly know how to deploy.
Even if they are really good deployers, they're still getting wrecked on turn 1, and that's I think what people
change our list to accommodate for the meta. When a deck doesn't work anymore, you change a few cards.
So basically, your advice then to a new competitive player is take as few units as possible and Alpha Strike. So you should go first and then win.
Do things like I do. I take 11 plus sister squads. I take repressors, which can hold 10. I stick a whole bunch of characters in one of them, which takes up 4 slots of my deployment. I take 2 squads per vehicle, and I usually deploy in a long board edge. Like, I place my 3 main vehicles in the middle, the thing that I think my opponent is going to go for first, my distraction unit. And I place everything else in a bullhorn formation, which usually works for me.
It comes across as though, basically, if you don't go first, even if you deployed like a god, you're going to lose.
Well, Nova also accommodates for you going first. You seize on a 5.
Point stands, you lose that roll-off, you lose the game.
If you're bad at deploying, yes.
Even if you're good, that's what it seems to come across. Like, if no matter how well you deploy, no matter how well refined your army is, no matter what you do, if you go second, you lose. That's how it seems to come across right now.
It literally sounds like the argument of a loser. I brought my deck that's really good. I saw it win last edition or this edition, thinking that it would work, and it didn't. Well, too bad. You lost. Learn from your mistake. Accommodate for the army. Take a couple of units of flamers and deal with the problem. Take some screening units.
You see, I'm coming at this on a different angle, and I know that. But as someone who plays semi-casually, semi-competitively, I will not remember a game that I won on turn 1. I will not remember a game that I lost on turn 1. Those games are boring. Those games are forgettable. The games I remember, whether it's the right thing for the competitive scene, are the games that go down to the wire, not the games where I kick my opponent into the middle of next week before he's even rolled a dice. That is not that's not fun. It might be effective, but it's not fun. And I think that's part. I understand the competitive scene is not designed to be fun, but if a game is in a position where literally your results at a tournament are determined solely, and this is how it seems to come across, solely on whether you go first or not, even if you build a perfect Alpha Strike, if you go second, you lose on turn 1. And that again,
it just sounds like a bunch of rage quitters who got mad and lost. This is not the argument of somebody who won the game. This is the argument of somebody who got Alpha Striked,
No,
got
I'd
mad,
say that
and
if I
wrote
was the
about
Alpha
it.
Striker, I'd say that if I was that Alpha Striker who won on turn 1, I'd say I don't like the way this game works.
I've been doing game after game preparing for Nova, okay? I don't really record these games because they are over in 30 minutes, which is what I like. They go to turn 3, and that's when the game is decided. If your opponent can happen to table you turn 1 before you do anything, you made a mistake. You did not bring the appropriate units to deal with your opponent's army. You're
Now
the
you
problem, not the opponent.
Now you see, you're right in saying that it sounds like people are bitchy, but there's the level of saying that you are just denying there's anything wrong.
I'm not denying that there's anything wrong.
I'm not saying you are. It's just how it comes across.
In every single format of every single competitive game, there is always an army, a deck, or something that wins turn 1. If Magic has Infect, Burn, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has every single Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck. Warhammer now has that, and a lot of people are not used to that outside of Space Marines. They're not used to being Alpha Strike. They're getting used to these sort of things. I'm up to 42 games. I have prepared for this. I know what my opponents are going to do, and I plan appropriately. I bring screening units. I bring tanks. I let my tanks die. Sometimes I have to sacrifice, like, I'll throw my exorcists at my opponent just to sacrifice them so they don't kill the units that I need.
I'm really sorry to interrupt here, but we still have quite a lot of questions to get through.
Sorry, my fault.
Agree to disagree, Michael?
I think it's a case of different mindsets, and I was trying to play devil's advocate before the comments went off on one at either of us.
Okay.
But yes.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Moving on. Now that Big Bobby G is back, being the closest thing to a living emperor, could he make new warrants of trade and by direct consequence create new rogue trader dynasties? Well, the High Lords of Terror can issue warrants of trade anyway. It's how they tend to get rid of rivals, because the honour of being given a warrant of trade cannot be refused. So basically, here, have a warrant of trade. Oh, you're so kind, you bastard. So that's how the High Lords tend to get rid of their rivals.
Huh. Fair enough.
That I did know about.
Okay, do Space Marines know about Chaos, or does the Inquisition hide that knowledge from them and they only know of the traitor Marines?
Considering that almost every single Space Marine book shows them fighting Chaos, pretty sure they know what they are.
I think they mean in regards, do they just see them as traitor Marines, or do they know them as actually being involved with Chaos? I think that is the correct
Some
how much do they know about demons?
Have counter-demon tactics.
I think that will vary pretty much on how new... I think the chapters by now will know. They might not be taught it day 1, but they'll know by now from experience. And they will... Actually, that raises a point. Any Space Marine who serves with the Grey Knights has his mind wiped, unless it's like the Space Wars and they just bitched about it until they didn't have to.
Dark Angels, or the Salamanders, who all just kind of left.
Or whatever, yeah. So, basically, I think the amount they know is completely level with how little they interact with the Inquisition.
In fact, it seems to... From what I can gather, it seems like the only ones who don't get given the mind wipe treatment are the progenitor chapters. So maybe the Successor...
Sometimes Guard, maybe.
So maybe...
Oh no, Guard are expendable.
Guard just killed.
They're expendable.
So basically with the
I don't know, we don't know what happened to Lieutenant Mira.
It's implied. It's implied.
It's implied. Okay.
I didn't say that.
Question from Michael. A Farseer wanted to know if you see them casting stuff, or is it just them pointing at you and everything going boom?
That will probably vary from spell to spell.
Also, do you have red hair?
No. You should know that. I do a lot of videos with face cam. You know what I look like.
Okay.
You'd look better with a goatee.
As you wish.
Okay. Dark Eldar cultural exchanges. Also saying about the Necrons and a party you guys threw for them.
I have no record of any Tau Necron interaction, but yes, that's a piss take out of the Tau. Fair play.
Okay, question for me. If white is more killy, what does the colour black do for orcs? Black is basically tougher.
Yeah.
That's why the Goths are, because the Goths are dead hard.
Yeah,
Well,
it's also
black and white, but yes.
It's plain and simple. There's a level of simplicity to it as well. Because they don't mess around, they just come at you and hit you in the face.
Question for the demon spawn.
Ha!
Tell the truth, the real reason you hate Magnus is because you two had a thing and he dumped you.
He didn't dump me, he abandoned me.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Question, what do you think the chapter tactics will be like for the Raven Guard and White Scars? We've answered that, so that's no problem. Do you think 40k could work as a Total War or Civilization style game? Total War, no, because that's basically more for historical type combats, with big regiments and punching each other in the face, not really for gunplay. Civilization would be interesting, though, I think.
You could probably... What you might want to do is maybe more like Stellaris, even, where it's an actual proper space empire. You don't get as much control over your ground troops, but you get control over... You could play an Imperial Navy style game through Stellaris. I don't know how well you could simulate both space and ground combat. That would be pretty difficult to do, particularly if you want grand campaigns as well, but could be done.
Okay, I heard at one point there were pterodactyl-mounted Rough Riders in Imperial Guard lore. What regiment was it, and were they noted for anything other than the cool factor of dinosaurs?
That's new.
That is a thing, and I've seen the pictures for it.
And in fairness, pterodactyls are not dinosaurs. Different clade. Different clade. Or taxon, whatever term is. That's an Old Spice preference, which is pretty weird. As we approach the 1-year anniversary of the podcast, do you have any special plans, crossovers, or even doing an After Dark fanfiction reading?
We can discuss that off the call, I think.
Fair enough. If Vulcan has war energy, is it possible for him to rally his own orc army? Potentially, if he has a war field.
He is big and green.
It depends on what you believe happened to Vulcan and his body and his soul after the War of the Beast.
True. If the Emperor took a more Tau-style approach to incorporating different cultures and species, if possible, into the Imperium during the Great Crusade, how would the universe look in the current 42nd millennium? No chaos,
Not too
no orcs,
different.
no nids?
Not too different. There'd just be more Xenos regiments in the Imperial Guard, and that would be it.
Fair enough.
They might have actually, I say that. It may have had some different research, and maybe there'd have been some Eldar around to work on the Imperial Webway, and maybe some other things, but it'd have been a stretch. It'd be pretty similar by now.
Well, I'm pretty sure the Tyrellians wouldn't have had their homeworlds destroyed by the Imperium, so that's always that. Question for me, what would a Mechanicus guy have on a body pillow? Possible answers include Optimus Prime, Toasters, or Cyberdons. Well, the correct answer is they'd have Black Arachnia from Beast Wars. There. Easy question. Have any Eldar passed themselves off as guardsmen to infiltrate their ranks? I think
No.
I think they did in one of the Gaunt's Ghost novels, didn't they?
Never. I haven't read all
I'll
the
be
Gaunt's
right
Ghosts.
back.
Okay.
Never. I think what I say is I've never seen it done, but I could see it happening.
Considering the fact that Eldar are essentially just humans who are taller, thinner, and have pointy ears, they could potentially pass it off.
If they really
distance.
wanted to.
From a
Because the
distance.
problem is, they probably also, why would I want to look? I'm so superior to the Mon-Kai. Why would I want to act like one of them as well?
It's
Bear that in mind.
probably a ranger who did it, though, in fairness.
Okay.
Maybe. That was quick.
Okay. Given that every time a greater demon fights a Primarch, the greater demon gets his head kicked in, and that the law states that a greater demon is more powerful than a demon prince, I thought it was the other way around, personally, is it not correct to say that a demon Primarch is not more powerful in the material realm than a normal Primarch?
Well, on the evidence we've had of Demon Primarch versus actual Primarch, we have had literally 2 fights. And Magnus won.
And Fulgrim won.
And actually, I mean 3, because Mortarion has shown up as well.
Yeah.
And we don't quite know how much he fought Guilliman personally, but he did eventually lose. Magnus won until the Sisters of Silence turned up. Fulgrim did win.
Yeah.
We believe that Guilliman was forced to retreat when Angron ascended to demonhood as well, but he had been kind of knackered out by that point, and he was already injured. So it's a British thing. But yeah, so as far as we've seen, the Demon Primarchs pretty much have never lost to their human equivalents.
Caldor Drago.
He's not a Primarch.
I know,
Exactly.
but he's better than a Primarch.
Just because he's Samurai Jack. Anyway, moving on.
Hi,
Other
Mom. I'm on HV.
Reference we
Anyway.
won't get, I suspect. Anyway.
Are there currently any known traitor chapters still undercover within the Imperium? The Alpha Legion?
Quite possibly.
Marines are actively willing and working for the ruinous powers, but considered loyal by the Imperium.
Sorry, can you repeat that? I got distracted.
Any known traitor chapters still undercover, such as Marines are actively and willingly working for the ruinous powers, but considered loyal by the Imperium.
As in anybody pulling a word bearers.
Or an Alpha Legion, essentially.
Or an out.
Well,
I know everybody's
just
going to want people to say the Dark Angels.
Just look at pretty much any chapter that's overly secretive about everything. Then you can make a case for that.
You can make a case for a lot of chapters, but I think the main problem with that is that those chapters would have had to, for those chapters to exist, they'd have had to have somehow snuck themselves into the records as a successor of somebody else during the second founding, and only the second founding, pretty much. So, probably they'd have revealed their treachery by now.
It depends how long they're playing the game for.
I mean, even...
Also, I do want to point this out. In the Imperial... was it the Imperial Agents? No, the book that showed the Fallen, it did actually confirm that the Fallen were the bad guys. It just flat out stated that they were Chaos.
Yeah, we all knew that. It's just a common joke at this point. That
I know, but still, a lot of people aren't fully aware of that.
Moving on.
Oops, sorry, I hit my microphone.
Damn it, Alexis. To everyone, who is your favourite traitor and loyalist Primarch?
Fulgrim.
Magnus. And I don't know which side of the list I'm putting him on.
Okay, and Alexis, who's your favourite loyalist then?
Fulgrim.
Loyalist, Alexis.
When he was loyal, he was beautiful.
Of the remaining 9?
Of the remaining 9, I'd have to go with Lion.
I would go with probably Vulcan or Sanguinius. Not sure which though.
Favorite traitor Primarch, Conrad Kurz, obviously.
Obviously.
Favorite loyalist though, I would probably have to go for either Vulcan or Sanguinius. Vulcan, but specifically when Vulcan was in his complete utter berserker madman state where he tackled Conrad Kurz out of the window. That was fucking awesome. Just wearing his suit of battered ultramarine armor, he basically smashed with his bare hands to fit him.
I think I'll go with Sanguinius. Awesome. I'll go with Sanguinius as my answer, just because I think I really like the Salamanders, but I'm not that fussed for Vulcan. Okay, I'll go with Sanguinius then.
Vulcan lives.
Oh dear. Next.
What are your opinions on Sanguinius, and which Primarchs would you kill?
Well, I've given my opinion on Sanguinius.
Magnus. Kill Magnus.
Yeah, Sanguinius is pretty cool.
Kill Lorgar. That way none of this ever happened.
Yeah, kill Lorgar. Fuck Lorgar, little bitch.
Indeed.
Okay.
I'm never Sanguinius.
Okay, question, and I'll be honest, I don't expect this to be answered. It'll probably be skipped, but question. Will Alexis Horus my heresy?
Yes,
What the fuck does that even mean?
Well, when a man and a woman get together, Michael.
I didn't even. That wasn't the first thing that came into my head. I thought because Horus was like the instigator of the heresy or something. I don't know. Just a weird thing to say. Move on.
Question. What about the Felinids? What about them?
What about them?
I like them.
Our human species we know nothing about. Move on.
They're either Nikos or they're furries. We don't know what yet.
We don't even know that.
Question for Alexis. Your Slaneshi faction is based on pride, so what is your most proud moment?
Yeah, it's kind of personal, but probably when I came out.
Fair enough.
That's understandable. I get that.
How do Space Wolves fit their beards into their helmets?
They don't wear helmets.
Fair enough.
They have special helmets that also have beards.
They tuck it into their gorget.
Also, there are occasionally those wolf helms as well, which have the elongated nose, so they could use those.
They just tuck it into their gorget.
Or that.
Are you a gene sealer? I don't know who you're referring to, so I'm just going to say yes, no, and maybe.
Michael is.
Really?
Question
Right.
for Alexis. Can Celestine have sex and children?
Celestine, we don't even know if she technically has a mortal form outside of her being an angel.
She's dead and then resurrected from the dead. So I think, as far as biological function goes, I think kids is out of the window at this point.
Well, no, she was walking around and talking to Greyfax and Guilliman. She does have an out-of-battle, I'm just kind of here thing going on. But as for children, probably not. She's kind of sworn to an eternal crusade.
I think they're not asking would she, it's could rather than would.
Could, possibly. I mean,
Depends if
she
she has-
was a sister of battle.
It depends if her body's not been purified to the point of sterility.
Yeah, we don't know, so let's
Or
just move
bonded
on.
to the armor itself, and that's just the exterior that you see, similar to that of Mariel Sabathiel. But she was fallen.
Or she's basically like an imperial version of a Phoenix Lord.
Yeah.
That's actually a really fun idea.
That's actually the one that I think that she is.
I mean, I still run with the idea of the living saints being imperial demons rather than like the Phoenix Lords, who are like a soul inhabiting the stone within the armor.
Yeah.
But
Why not both?
Alright, moving on. How the hell do Guardsmen fight, let alone win, against Chaos Warbands or Tyranid invasion?
with great difficulty.
And tanks. Lots of
Like
tanks. Lots of tanks. About 1 million basilisks just going boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, that's a record.
One of my favorite quotes ever. What I can't crush under the treads of my tank, I will crush in the sheer weight of bodies, or something like that.
Under the sheer weight of the boots of the Imperial Guard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Arius quote.
Yeah, it's like one of my favorites. I love it. I love the Imperial Guard. I should have started Imperial Guard.
I tried playing Imperial Guard, but it was 6th edition, and my opponents were playing like Tau and Marines, and I got my butt kicked. So I kind of gave up quite quickly, and then went back to Orcs, and then played Tau.
Actually, might sell off my orcs.
Boo.
Have you guys seen or heard about the new Dawn of War mod called Dawn of Glory?
No.
Link it in the description down below. I am very curious. Or join my Discord.
They put a link in the question.
Even better.
How did that? Almost, yeah, auto-approve, I suppose.
Check it out.
Yeah, you did that.
Since Cole mentioned making Primarchs Marines out of Traitor and Lost Legion gene stock, does this mean he has access to the gene seed? Well, he doesn't have access because Guilliman won't let him have access.
Yeah, pretty much.
The time lock probably has expired now, but just because there's the red tape, it's like, can I use the gene seed? No. Can I use the gene seed? No. Can I use the gene seed? No.
No.
Can I not use the gene seed? No. Yay!
If the Thunder Warriors come out of hiding, what will they do? They're probably mostly dead, apart from
They're all dead.
Apart from Arik Tyrannus.
Apparently, there's actually a quote of them returning.
What?
Really?
Where?
Yeah, somebody pointed this out in my Discord. It was kind of awesome.
You have to show me that later.
Yeah, please do.
But it's something along the lines of like Ragnarok and things like that, where it's the mythical returning versus the actual returning.
Okay.
And considering that like all the nicknames the Space Marines have, that could have easily been a myth about a particular chapter. I mean, the Space Wars are the Sky Warriors to the people from Fenris, so...
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is the Adeptus Mechanicus still capable of building Imperator and Warmonger Titans, or can only build up to Warlords?
Capable, yes, but the resources will be too immense. Like, it's like the same reason they don't build battleships anymore. It's not that they can't, it's that it would be impractical to do so, I think.
Okay. Since the Primarchs Marines have secular beliefs, having been recruited shortly after the heresy, would they be at a disadvantage when fighting Chaos?
Stop. Recruited shortly after the heresy. Are you mad?
Actually, they were there for 10,000 years. It is possible. We don't know the lore of Dark Imperium too much, so they might have been...
And even if we assume that, they'll have seen the age of the Imperium come and go. They'll have seen the rise of the Ecclesiarchy. So they'll just be like...
Don't forget, a lot of them were stuck in stasis pods, weren't they?
In that case, then they'll whatever they knew will be the Imperial truth. So they'll still follow the Imperial truth, which is what the Space Marines follow anyway.
Unless they're mind wiped.
Maybe. Okay. Question: is Vulcan the Primarch version of Kenny from South Park?
Yes.
Yeah, he just dies and comes back later on. Dreadnought Chapter Masters. Does being interred into a Dreadnought hinder a Chapter Master's job of being a Chapter Master? Well, the only one we really know of is Lord Dagon of the Bloodswords.
Bjorn.
He's not a Chapter Master.
He was.
But he wasn't. He was only very briefly.
He was appointed Chapter Master. I looked this up.
He was appointed Chapter Master before he got put into the Dreadnought, though.
I'll double check it, but I'm pretty sure in my Space Wars lore, I remember reading and writing that he became Chapter Master, became a Dreadnought, and then retired.
Yeah, when he was left behind, when Russ buggered off to do who knows what, he didn't officially take command of the chapter until like about 3 years afterwards, because every year they left plates out for Russ to come back at the Great Feast, and then they're like, well, he's obviously not coming back. Bjorn, you're in charge. Yeah,
he did. He took him he led them for most of M31, then got interred in a Dreadnought, and apparently he kept leading until about midway through M32 before he started to retreat more into stasis sleep. So apparently he was in command as Dreadnought for at least a bit. I think the main reason about the hindrance thing is they can do it, but because Dreadnoughts are often kept as with Bjorn in stasis quite a lot, it probably would be quite a bit of a hindrance.
Yeah. Okay. Why doesn't the Emperor have a beard? I have no idea. Maybe he does. I don't know. It depends if he shaved that day. Well, actually, no. The reason the Emperor doesn't have a beard is because he's a fucking skeleton right now.
I was about to say that.
Okay. Has Fulgrim ever been mistaken for a woman?
Probably.
It's not been confirmed, but I wouldn't rule it out.
Lucas the Trickster versus Kata Sicarius. Who would win?
The Imperium would lose.
Sicarius would win, but then would also be frozen in stasis by Lucas' second heart activating.
Unless Kata Sicarius, quickly escape from that.
Will the Space Wolves turn the remains of Fenris into a battleship? I assume something similar to the Archangel's Rock.
Fenris didn't break.
No, it just got killed. Everyone got killed there, essentially.
Yeah,
I think they did that with Cadia, though, or they're doing that with Cadia.
I approve.
Do demon princes have free will? No, essentially, because they're all controlled by the whim of their gods. No, they don't actually have free will. They don't. They believe they have free will, but it's all part of the god's own greater game by having them believe they have free will.
Yeah, you're right, because they can scheme against each other and stuff, but it is all for the benefit of somebody else. You're right.
Unless they can somehow sever the connection with the warp.
Then they will die because they're warp entities.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because they don't lose any. Their mind stays as it is. It's just now sort of, as it probably was in life, slave to the will of the gods.
Yeah.
Well, technically, they don't keep their mind. They keep their personality.
Yeah.
Same difference.
Okay, who would you consider to be your rival in the Warhammer fantasy world? Would Ego Queen's rival be Valkyria the Bloody?
Isn't that the chick that killed a Slaneshi demon?
With her bare hands before she became a demon prince.
That's Khorne's favourite champion in fantasy, the girl who can fly.
Fuck that, that'd be my waifu.
Okay, I don't really have...
I'm not enough up on fantasy lore, I'm afraid.
Okay, will the Exodites ever get involved and unleash a fucking T-Rex?
Yes.
Would like, but will not expect.
No. Someone's asking Alexis to hook them up with someone. Okay.
Oh, God.
Wait, what is the question? I'm legit curious.
Question for Alexis. I'm trying to find someone who would love me. Can you hook me up?
What's their name?
Chaos Poseidon.
Okay, it's not a character then.
Okay, never mind.
Does croup meat taste like chicken? No, it tastes more like duck.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
We know they're avian, but I wouldn't say any more than that.
Question for the damnable heretical Tau lover. How's your day going, Alexis?
Ha!
Get the fuck out. I hate you.
I know exactly who that question. I knew that question was coming. I knew it was coming. I know who wrote it. And while you're normally a bit of an arsehole in my comments with your character will insult. Well played.
I used to like that.
Since psychers find blanks tremendously more painful than normal humans, what would the Sister Signs make the Emperor feel? I mentioned this earlier, he would probably feel at most a couple of pinpricks.
At best, yeah.
Yeah.
And considering Malcolm was able to use his powers nearby the Sister Signs as well, so...
And given that the Silent Sisterhood were actually allowed to wander around in the inner Imperial Palace, they can't have had that much of an effect while he was working on the webway.
No. What is your theory on John Grammaticus and his final mission? I don't know. He's proved to be very, very...
Wasn't the last thing he did kill Vulcan?
He stabbed Vulcan, then he died, and then he got resurrected, but then I think he said something like maybe he's no longer a perpetual? Or was that David Prentice?
I think that's right, because I think when he killed Vulcan with the Fulgurite, he gave up his perpetuality to give Vulcan his back, or something?
Something like that.
That's stupid. This is why I hate perpetuals.
I'm more curious to see what's going to happen with Damon Parantis and Cyrene Valentian.
Those names mean nothing to me, I'm afraid.
Cyrene was the Blessed Lady of the Word Bearers. She was blind because she was the sole survivor of when Monarchia got bombed.
Yeah, I know who she is.
And then she got killed, and then she got resurrected, and then Damon Parantis basically kidnapped her and took her to the Cabal. So,
and then it gets all kinds of confusing once the Cabal get involved.
Yeah, and that's what we heard of it since. Do you think the reason the Lost Primarchs were killed was because the Emperor told them of chaos and then they went crazy? And that's why he decided to tell the other 18?
It would be a justification for why he didn't, but why would he start with those two?
Maybe they were into around at the time and he thought, you know, fuck, I'm going to tell you
guys.
I still think it's because they had mutations. Back. Just flat out bad mutations.
It can't have been Horus was first back, and then it was Russ, and then it was a Lost Primarch, because it wasn't like they were the only ones around.
Yeah,
so...
literally, the second Lost Primarch was found just before Alfarius, even though Devil's says otherwise.
It was he was number 18 or 19, yeah.
Yeah. Question for Alexis. A few episodes ago, you compared the spacecraft of 40K to Star Wars and said there was no contest. What about spacecraft from Stargate?
Oh, God.
I have yet to look into the Stargate universe, and I really want to. One of my passions is actually comparing space fleets to each other. I really enjoy looking at how each different universes tackle the impossibility of going faster than light. And usually it's through some technology that they just go, yeah, it works.
Yeah, because that's bullshit.
I personally think, 40Ks is the best. It opens a portal to another dimension to travel through a certain spot, pick out where it needs to come back in the material universe. It's probably the most likely.
I know.
But then again, in the 40K universe, the spaceships themselves can travel faster than light anyway. It's just that the warp travel is faster than that.
Yeah, FTL is, as far as we're aware, FTL is scientifically impossible, so whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Question for all. Are there Primaris Grey Knights? If not, will we ever get them?
We'll find out in about a month when they get their Codex.
Actually, there might be, since there's fucking Psyker Primaris Marines, which annoys me.
Well, why wouldn't there be Psyker Primaris Marines?
Because when they first came out, they said they're warp resistant.
Fair enough.
That annoyed the fuck out of me.
Well, but don't forget the
Primaris Marines. They're experts at killing chaos because they're warp resistant. And then they release a fucking Psyker. It's just like, make up your mind, DW. Are they warp resistant or can they use the warp?
Well, don't forget that Primaris Psyker does have a whole bunch of amplification shit on his body, so that's probably why.
Yeah, there's warp resistant but not warp immune.
Saying, well, here's this guy. This guy can't be touched by water, but he has a super soaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine. That's fine.
Okay.
I hate it. Also, his model looks like a fat guy.
He is a fat guy. Speaking of fat Marines, we actually got confirmation of a fat space Marine. A space war called Hagar in one of the Ragnar Blackmane books was fat with oversized power armor.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay, so question for Remleiz: when's the next Quest for Knowledge episode appearing? And if there is any, can you give us a sneak peek of any new voices that's going to appear? I can't give you a sneak peek, but I can tell you who is going to appear in it. Obviously, Wargamer Girl's going to be back in it as Volpa. Alexis is going to be herself. Fresh Sorcerer is going to be back as the Space Wolf. And we're also going to have the introduction of Snipe and Nostalgia as Sisters of Battle. And Alpha Peace is going to be doing a voice as a Deathwatch Marine as well.
Pretty good.
Okay, question from Michael. A friend of mine calls the 8 the Tower Rangers. Is this a fair nickname?
Oh my god, that's amazing!
That's fucking ridiculous.
Is this a fair nickname, and what colour would you do each member of the 8 for that theme?
Well, let's take Oblatai and Ovase around the equation for a second, because different suit. Farsight kind of has to be red because, it's his armour, end of the day. Brightsword's the impetuous one. Arakon's the analytical... No, actually, no, Torchstar's the impetuous one. Arakon's the analytical one. Shavastos is a genius. Brightsword is pretty prideful and goes for the glory. Who are the other ones? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who have I missed? Who's it? Shavastos, Brightsword, Arakon. Oh, Bravestorm. Bravestorm is the selfless bodyguard guy, and so I'm not great with the power. What character personalities the Power Rangers have, but I'm sure people can take that
description. The blue one was the tech guy. The
pink one is Pride.
That'll be the
black
Vaser
one,
then.
The black
the
one
tech
was the cool dude.
Was the black guy?
I thought the black guy was the mentor character from the Power Rangers I saw.
Did you ever watch Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?
No, I watched the dinosaur one.
That was the dinosaur one. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the original.
No, I mean the prehistoric dinosaur one, Dino Thunder. That was mine.
What do you mean prehistoric dinosaur one?
Well,
as opposed to futuristic dinosaur one.
You know what I mean. You know what I mean.
This dinosaur prejudice will not stand. I'll complain to Snipe and Women about this.
Anyway, yeah, from the personalities I've just given you, I'm sure you can maybe create something. Oh, and Overlord is an AI, so that doesn't work at all.
Yes, it does. That's Alpha.
Oh, yeah, Alpha 5. Good point.
Fair enough. Okay, Alexis. If Orcs or Slaaneshi forces invaded Ophelia 7 or some other major shrine world, how fucked is everyone?
Very.
A major shrine world. Wait, what's on that planet? Sisters?
Ophelia 7 is the most sacred world in the Imperium besides Terra. It was the first of the cardinal worlds.
Oh, then fuck it, they're fine.
Don't forget Mars. Mars is a sacred world.
I mean, if Slaanesh...
It's, I think, sorry, not most sacred, most holy. Sorry, it's the second most holy world besides Terra. Sorry.
Okay.
It actually might just be protected based around, if there's a sister covenant on it.
Which there will be.
There probably will be sister covenants on it.
The planet itself might be protected by their faith. As dumb as that sounds.
That would protect against chaos, but not orcs.
No, the flamers would deal with those.
Fair enough. Okay, Remleiz, would you use your Night Lords as Chaos Space Marines? Well, yes, I would at some point. Is there a Chaos God of Hatred?
Corn?
The nearest thing you'd probably get is Khorne.
Yeah.
It's not perfect, but that's probably the closest you'll get.
You could make an argument for Malice.
Or Slaanesh.
No, Slash is not hatred.
Well, if you think about it, Slaanesh is probably the nearest to love, and as Khorne is the diametric opposite of Slaanesh, then Khorne would probably fall on hate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, I can see that.
In this new edition, what's a good build for a Space Marine tactical squad?
I'm actually really liking Las Cannon Meltagun as a combat squad. Though keep the Las Cannon in the back. 2 combi Meltas riding up forward.
Ow.
Okay. Can Snipe and Web ever come back for another episode?
Oh God, yes.
Sure.
I love those too.
We shut them out for half an hour, but yeah, they were good.
Okay, what if the Necron tier died off before ever encountering the Catan? Then the Necrons wouldn't be here.
Yeah, the Necrons wouldn't be there. The Catan would have just kept orbiting and eating space radiation or whatever they were doing.
Yeah, and the old
Katie would have fallen a lot quicker.
And that would also mean the Realm of Chaos wouldn't be created because the warp would have been fucked up. And the old ones would still be floating around.
Quite possibly.
What if the No, Eldar wouldn't exist either.
No, the Eldar were around. The Necron.
No, Eldar were created at the end of the War in Heaven.
No. Sorry. The Eldar, the longevity of like the old ones and their servants, like the Eldar, was what caused the War in Heaven to begin with.
The Orcs wouldn't exist though.
The Orcs wouldn't exist. The Eldar would.
Neither would the Jakaro, funnily enough. Because Jakaro created around the same time as the Orcs.
And humanity may not have evolved down the same route because they may have been under Eldar supervision. So, very different galaxy, basically.
Okay. Question for Remleiz: will you ever go to a local Games Workshop store and find someone to play a game with? My local Games Workshop store's in Birmingham. You fucker if I'm ever going there.
You are going when I come over to visit.
Like, fuck, I'm going to fucking Birmingham. No offense to anyone from Birmingham listening, but if you live in Birmingham, you know why. If Grey Knights started at a young age, would they be called at one point the Teen Titans? Oh, God.
Yes, they would. They would even have Titan's Tower.
Okay.
Fuck.
What's the real difference between the techniques psykers use and the techniques of sorcery? Well, psykers is inherently biological, where sorcery is something picked up from an arcane term and made through pacts with demons. And basically, only those who are warp sensitive can become psykers, but anyone can become a sorcerer if they have the right
That's
equipment.
my demon, who is a sorcerer.
Yes.
And a demon.
Yep, but she doesn't know how to wield psychic energy.
That makes no goddamn sense, but then again, I've got a Tau Psychic character, so I'm not saying anything.
Well, no, she learned Master of Sorcery through Magnus.
Okay.
There's...
If the surviving Loyalist Primarchs were to return, do you want them to be like their old Horus Heresy selves, just older, or do you want them damaged somehow, Rust turned into a wolf and Vulcan affected by warp energy, etc.? And if so, how would you damage each of them?
I would say keep them like their old selves, because otherwise people are just going to be like, well, these aren't the same Primarchs.
Just maybe make them a bit more bitter and cynical. Like, oh, this shit's turned out like this.
But yeah, basically turn everybody into Korax.
Oh, fuck that. Don't want that.
Maybe not.
Just make them a bit more gruff. Because like they've probably been fighting fuck knows what for 10,000 fucking years.
I'm actually imagining Lion coming back as kind of like in a calm demeanor, like, alright, this happened.
Well, he's been asleep, so...
Yeah, he's actually had some rest.
Guilliman, we need to fix this. I'm going to take over your crusade. You're going to lead the people. Okay? Okay.
To be honest, Alex, I was expecting you to say, I want Lion to come back just so he can be like, hey, Queen!
No.
Actually, now you say it, that's what I should have expected, but yeah.
No, if anything, Lionel Johnson's story is Sleeping Beauty. He needs to wait for his... Alright, I'm done. Moving on.
Yeah, you're done.
If a Death Watch Marine fell to chaos, would they still bear the Death Watch shoulder pad? Probably, but they'll become corrupted over time, probably.
Yeah. They wouldn't keep it the same. They'd deface it to hell.
Yeah. Maybe
unless they kept it the same.
Maybe put the Star of Chaos over it. Okay.
Excuse me.
When doing your info or lore videos, at what point do you draw the line on spoilers?
Oh, this is me.
I don't draw the line on spoilers unless it's a book that came out literally that week.
Yeah, like, the basic premise if you're going into a lore video is when you're coming to see one of our lore videos that we are going to explore everything. Sorry if we do spoil something, but we're not going to put a bloody spoiler warning on the front of a book that, particularly like the older books. It's like, I can't say this is going to be a spoiler for this, because I've got so many bloody sources. It just can't be done. So
the only time I've put a spoiler up, it was literally 2 days after Wrath of Magnus came out when I did my video about Logan Grimnar possibly being corrupted by chaos.
Yeah, I mean, if I'd have done my Space War 4000 Sun lore video around that time, I might have done. But, I mean, the only thing I could say is that I've got a lot of spoilers for Book 7, I suppose, in like my upcoming lore videos, but I don't they're spoilers, but they're not spoilers. Like, it's just information that is worth pointing out. I'm going to tell you that because I think it's relevant information. Sorry if I've spoiled something, but consider yourself forewarned when you click on something from someone who you know goes into as much depth as we do.
Okay.
I barely do lore videos, but what I do, I spoil the whole damn thing.
Yeah, I guess that's the nearest thing to a rant I'm going to have is that, I suppose.
Now that a massive warp rift has cut off most of the Ultima Segmentum, would the Imperial worlds trapped on the wrong side start to collapse like they did during Old Night?
It's the Age of Strife cranked up to 1 million over there, so yes.
Okay.
And that's pretty much a quote from GW.
Question for Alexis. Does Magnus Red still beat the ever-loving daylight out of your sisters, or is he manageable now?
Actually, it's extremely easy to kill now.
Really?
Yeah, I have no problem with him with the sisters now.
Yeah, it looks like, well, maybe on the high end, it seems like big stuff now as people have found a way to counter it.
Literally, I just drive up to him with 4 melta guns and make him go away.
Question for Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Will you do Alexis' intro?
And that's another 3 months. I'm going to use the snipe and whip principle, so we're probably up to about 4 years at this point, at the very least.
Come on, it's only
It's
been
still gonna
only
happen.
one.
Oh no, the amount of times it's been set up to this point.
What's the chances of the Mulala officially become... What? Oh, I think I mean Malal. Okay.
Malala? I like the Malala.
At first I thought they were referencing King Mukla or something. Well, Malal won't, but Malice... Well, considering the fact that Malice is currently in the material realm, he is canon, despite what people may say, he is canon. Whether he becomes a major player in the Chaos Pantheon, that's a different issue. I doubt they will, unless they do get rid of someone like Slanesh. Like, say, she's to be part of the main 4 Pantheon.
But that's extremely unlikely as well.
Exactly. And even though they'll probably end up bringing the Horned Rat in. Question for Alexis. Can you do your best orc impression of the following quote? There is no such thing as friendly fire. Gork don't allow, but one of the boys should fall to friendly fire. Oh well, Morg never liked him anyway.
That's a
No,
really
because
long
you guys are just gonna insult me.
Also, that's very long. I don't know if I could read it back.
Besides, my orcs are new orcas.
Fair enough. Question for me. If someone wrote a poem or a haiku called Ode to Toasters and the Drow slapping your Cybertron against it, would you read them aloud either on your channel or Alexis's? Maybe on Alexis's channel.
Oh, what? Why my channel?
Because because your channel's for shit posting.
I am not a shit poster.
You
I just
saw
have
and
fun.
read fan fiction of Lehman Russ and cultist chat and bacon sex. Yeah.
Shut.
Okay. Just finishing loading that up. Da-da-da-da. How does Dark Eldar torturing shit make them live longer?
They feed off the pain and suffering of those they torture. Don't ask, doesn't make sense. It rejuvenates their soul somehow.
Would you like a Girls und Panzer type TV series where instead of World War II tanks, there were 40k tanks? Oh dear God.
I'd be okay with that.
I've never even seen Girls und Panzer.
I've never even heard of it.
I'm assuming it's one of those animes where all the tanks are actually cute anime girls or something. Like, you know that weird one with the battleships? They're actually
God,
girls.
that reminds me of that game Panzer Mädels now.
That's the thing. Japan turns everything into anime girls. Let's be honest, because like you got like Hyperdimension Neptunia, which is like video game consoles turned into anime girls. Anything can turn into anime girls because Japan.
Even Remleiz or Michael.
Shut
I'm not
up.
suggesting
I've already had a picture of me drawn as an anime girl.
Should.
I've already had a
Shut
picture.
up.
I've already had a picture drawn of me as an anime girl by Nostalgia. So blame her.
All right, Michael's turn.
Huh? Michael's turn. Has there ever been a case where Zinch or some other Justice Plan twat tricked a chapter of Astartes on Inquisitor to see something horrible by pretending to be the Emperor?
Soul Drinkers. It wasn't quite the Emperor, but actually might have been, actually, yeah. Soul Drinkers, manipulated by a Lord of Change.
Also, Alexis Triple X Magnus.
God fucking damn it.
What? This one makes no sense. How much of Michael do I need to preserve a whole buffalo for winter?
What?
Salt.
Oh, because he's salty as fuck.
Okay, good joke. Fair play.
Michael is always salty as fuck, though.
Would a Nurgle body pillow kill its owner or make them stronger?
Probably both. But
Ew.
moving on.
If anything, I want a Fulgrim body pillow.
You got a Magnus one. That's all you need.
Oh, fuck that.
You
Although
fucked
the
it.
pillow is very comfortable.
Do you say you fucked the Magnus pillow?
Get out! Shut up!
Question from Michael and Alexis. When's the wedding?
I'm scheduling it for early next April. Yeah.
Probably the first.
Yeah. Tyler's going to be upset, but it's fine.
Okay, what's the best Pokemon team to beat Traz in the Infinite? I don't fucking know.
I don't fucking know.
Do the Eldar Gods have sacred numbers like the Chaos Gods?
Not that I'm aware.
Not that we know of. Also, there were too many of them. We'd run out of numbers.
Well, there's only, 4 of them now?
We're going back here. We're going to have to consider the entire Pantheon. Because why would they only invent sacred numbers after they all died?
Because that's just how their coping mechanism.
Coping mechanism.
Does the lady and the angry gentleman hate each other?
No, I love each other. He's a good person. Or at least he tolerates me.
We just have diametrically opposed opinions on what we think 40k should be, and half the time it means that we don't agree because I throw logic at something and Alexis throws experience at it.
Pretty much.
Okay. I should probably wrap up questions because there's still a lot to go, so I'm going to wrap them up now. So, any questions I don't get read at this time, post them in the comments. This section we'll try and get to them next time.
Our fault for arguing about the meta.
Yes.
That wasn't an argument.
Debate, then.
No, I would actually say that was a proper conversation.
Yeah, conversation, debate. Yeah, same difference.
Okay.
So,
what's wrong with the Raven Guard?
Nothing. I really like them.
Well, depends. What do you count? What do you mean by wrong?
I assume something to do with their gene seed or something like that.
Well, they do have a tendency to be albino, or albino, however it's pronounced.
They're not albino.
I think there's a tendency for paler skin, I believe.
Yeah, but they don't have white hair and red eyes, though. That's what albinism is. The Death Spectres do, I think.
Oh, yes.
Albino.
Is that how it's pronounced?
Yes. You
Okay,
guys are weird.
Sorry.
You British people and not knowing American.
We invented a language. Learn it.
Yeah,
We made it better.
You bastardized it.
I don't see a problem
You
with
can't even
this.
spell through properly.
You don't even know how to say aluminum.
You can't even spell it properly.
We don't need to.
No, because you just assume that everyone does it your way because you're lazy.
Yep.
Oh dear.
We probably offended a whole bunch of our American fans, so we apologise. But not really. But we do.
Not really.
Okay. Michael, will you do Alexis' intro? If you don't, I'll consider you to be my ally.
I'll take an ally in the comments.
Okay. And this will be the last question today. If Slaanesh somehow died, doesn't matter how, where would the Eldar souls go, considering they don't need their soul stones anymore? I would assume they would just fade into the warp, dissolve, then reincarnate.
Yeah, assuming that they work like all other souls.
I'm sure I would like them.
In
regards to souls that have already been devoured by Slaanesh, they're pretty much fucked.
They're gone. Yeah.
They're gone.
I mean, I had a question actually I got tweeted a question about Tau souls and what happens to them, and they just go in the warp as far as I'm aware, same as everybody else.
When they say a soul is devoured, how much of it is lost? Like,
it's like a demon's essence. It's like the demon has his entire essence reabsorbed by the Chaos God if the God takes it back, and I believe the same applies to a soul. It's just wholly absorbed and consumed.
Yes, but if that Chaos God is then obliterated, would that not mean that the energy is there as well? It's just returned to the ocean?
Yeah, but it wouldn't be in the same... It wouldn't be able to get the soul back, if that's what you're asking.
Oh, no. It'd be used up. It's just like... But its energy would never dissipate. It would just transfer to a new version.
As far as we're aware, yes, because energy cannot be destroyed or created, only transferred. But, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it for this week for those questions.
Okay. So, yeah, as I say, if you do have any questions that you didn't get round to or that you want to raise for next time, please leave them in the comments with the word question. I will be reading them, so be careful with how many memes you put in. You've been
Put
warned.
in all the memes.
And I'll ignore them.
I won't.
Sure. So, yeah, does anyone have any rants for this week or anything else to add that we haven't done so already?
Titans are fair and balanced.
She says about an hour and a half ago saying that they were all overcosted.
They are.
They're fair and costed by being overpriced.
Exactly.
Okay. I think I've sort of...
No, that's just suspension. No, don't
I've
worry
made
about
my
it.
point about spoilers. I think that's the nearest thing I'm going to say to a rant is like, if you come to look at a lore channel and not expect spoilers, then you're doing it wrong. Sorry, just we don't have a line on spoilers because, well, it'd be impossible to track.
With the only exception being if a brand new book came out that week and we did a video on it.
Yeah, and even then, that's maybe even a bit of a stretch. It's like we have to be right on top of these things. And particularly for me, as I write scripts that are all in character, I can't just say, oh, spoiler alert for this, because that just breaks character.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I've already had my rant about the Tyranids.
And Primaris Marines.
I have no
Wait,
rant.
did I read? Oh, yeah, I totally did. Yep, I guess we're good here.
Okay, then.
Fair enough. So, on that note, I think this may be the longest episode we've done to date. Not that I'm complaining.
Without an argument.
And without an argument. Without a proper one, anyway. So, thank you all for watching today's episode of Adeptus Podcastus. We do hope you have enjoyed it. As before, always, if you want to let us know your thoughts in the comments, please do so, whether positive or negative, because you don't like the way we operate. We had one of those as well. So, we will see you all next time for what will be episode 24 over on Alexis' channel. For now, though, my name is Michael for Tactica Imperialis.
This is Remleiz for 40k Theories.
I'm Alexis. Love me.
And we'll see you all next time. Goodbye.
Send us presents.